Helps if I turn off my mute button, but yes, I'm here.
Okay. I didn't know if you'd been like talking this whole time or not.
Yeah, I muted myself to swap over to the headset that doesn't make loud rustling noises every time I move. And forgot to unmute.
But, yes. Hello everyone, I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and surprise, surprise, we're actually running a session of 2D20 DUNE. For those of you watching this in VOD afterwards, there's been no change, but it's been a couple weeks for us, so if we seem a little off, that's why. It's been a bit for since our last session. But yes, this is DUNE, 2D20 DUNE, made by, released by Modifius, and we are in the 4th month of House Bellezza's new struggles for power and purpose in the Silvanus system. So we'll get right into that in a moment here. Probably should give myself threat. You have enemies out there. And we start off with return to the moon of Agrestis. Agrestis, I was right. I don't know my own planets anymore.
No,
Salutaris.
Agrestis is the wrong man.
You're playing House Agrestis now. They're not even called that. But yes, you're on the House Silvanus, the Moon Silvanus. About to have your monthly meeting after some adventures on Kaitan and on the planet Ikaz. But first things of first. Do I have a Silvanus general place? Not Silvanus, Salutaris. So
Fortress Landing has been our general,
general holding area,
yeah.
So as the meeting is about to begin, Ritter Marshal Mil Moonshadow arrives in Spaceport around the same time as Silvanus Johanna Rashid. The treasurer, Kabata, will be doing some catching up on things very quickly. Basically just strides without much ceremony straight to Fortress Landing to kind of start dealing with a possible audit coming your way. So it's one of those like, I need to be somewhere now and get up to date on what's going on. But I will note that Mil Moonshadow looks significantly different. So you tell me, I forget if we decided what part of you was actually hurt, Mil Moonshadow. You have a new trait now that indicates that you have you've lost a limb because you nearly died in your battle.
Yeah. I don't think we had decided, to be honest with you. I don't recall. Mind you, it's been a few weeks, but...
Yeah, so it's a good time as any to figure that out, because it's immediately apparent that you have a mechanical prosthetic.
Let's say left arm, arbitrarily.
So note on your sheet that you have a mechanical left arm. That's something it's obvious you've been in a fight somewhere. You've been in a fight and nearly died. So that can be helpful to you or not helpful to you, depending on who you're talking to.
Okay, I just saved it on my bio and info area, unless you want me to put it under one of the traits.
As long as you remember it's there, because it is a trait you now have. You now suffer that trait for good and ill.
I'll put it under personality traits as well, so that I'm less likely to forget, because I know myself.
Yes, Johanna and Mul run into each other at the spaceport on Salutaris. You ignore each other, say hello to each other.
Mill! Oh my god! Are you alright? I knew that the battle had been extreme, but I had no idea.
I'm getting used to it.
Are you in much pain?
Some, but fortunately the doctors had potent pain relief.
I'm so sorry. Come, let us ride back together, and on the way you can fill me in on everything. I have a feeling the Fallsgrafen will be in an interesting mood.
I don't blame her for this, but I expect she'll be more concerned with the failure of the mission than my arm.
Mm. My concern is that her first move may be to take us to actual war against Chome. And Joanna kind of sighs and says, I've been having far more fights with my cousin than I would like. Perhaps today will be different, however.
It is then that you see a certain noble lady approach the two of you as you're talking in the spaceport. She seems she's dressed in the whites and blues of House Valerian with a bejeweled tree of the Silvani tree pinned at her dress lapel. Her attire it is still very ennobled, but it gives more, you almost get these notes of academia and research. Like it looks more like a lab coat or doctor's coat, but it's kind of been morphed into a noble's attire. The woman looks to be in her mature years. It's hard to tell exact age when you get into nobility, because people can, with the help of spice and other analgesics, they can kind of extend their life quite significantly, and their appearance can be misleading. But this lady looks mature, which is a choice of a noble. Some try to stay in that sort of perpetual 20s, 30s, rather than more 40s, 50s, and so on. She adjusts what appear to be actual glasses, which again, that's something that could be fixed. She's choosing not to. And as she approaches the two of you, Johanna, your other memory fills in the gap about who this is. This is the Lady Alara Valorian. She is the mother to the current ruler. Although you notice she doesn't have all the fanfare and panoply of like guards and everything else around. Though it's likely they may be hidden, as some people don't wear their bodyguards openly, especially going friendly to friendly. Yes, the mother to Eric Valorian. There we go. Good day to you, Silvanus Johanna Rashid. It seems we have come to cross each other's paths a little sooner than I thought we would. The Reverend Mother stares at her blankly, giving her a death glare.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. So I said, Lady Alara, what a pleasure to meet you, and bows, of course. Does my other memory tell me her areas of research or academic studies?
She is a pharmacologist who specializes in adding in Silvani sap into various products to enhance their abilities. And by extension, she also has a deep understanding of forestry, and process management and stuff like that. So she's very focused.
Right.
She's the sort of noble lady who spent a lot of time at the factories and not at her palace.
Right.
She was actually from a noble family that was more industrial, away from Silvanus, and she married in the Valorian because they really needed her expertise back in the day. There's rumors that she was part of the project for Project Amal, but that was never confirmed.
Right. Well, whatever it is that has brought us together, I'm so pleased that it has occurred.
And whom do you have in your company, Silvanus Johanna?
May I present the Ritter Marshal Mill Moonshadow of House Bellezza.
Mel will bow. It's a pleasure.
Ritter Marshal. Downright frontier spirit, that. I never thought one of the tribes would take up a higher noble title outside the tribe. It must be quite difficult for you.
Not especially. House Bellezza is a good and honorable house to work with.
He nods.
Are you returning? Well, she's on the spaceport on Salutaris, right?
Yep.
So what brings you to our good moon, my lady?
I act as an envoy for House Valorian. My son has questions about the Ritter Marshal's activities on Akaz, as well as certain movements that have been occurring on Kaitan. So, I'm here to speak with the Falsgrafen. Although I am of the understanding that you're due for one of your reorganization meetings, given the transfer of power. You don't do your annual meetings, monthly is my understanding. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I'm correct.
Yes, well, as with every house, there's always housekeeping to be done. And with the rapid changes across the Empire and here at home as well, not just in Salutaris, but on Silvanus itself, we have found it beneficial to take care of financial and other matters for the house and our holdings in a more regular fashion than annually. Although we do see a time in just a few months where we too will be able to return to a more annual basis. But all of that aside, if you wish, we would be honored to provide you transport to the Fortress Landing, unless, of course, you already have arrangements made.
I did make some arrangements, but a car ride is always more fun in company, and besides, I don't think I have to worry quite so much about Can Lee in these days. The benefits of being older and handing in the reins to the young.
Joanna kind of chuckles slightly. Well, come then, my lady, and we'll provide a little tour on the way.
Of course, and Silvanus Johanna, you really must see the Lord Castian. you'll be quite interested to see your more modern views, perhaps, on the state of the Holy Church.
Who's the Lord? Are you saying Lord Castilian or whatever, however you pronounce that?
Castian. When you think about it, other memory floats it to the memory. That's the father.
Okay.
So the original Duke and Duchess stepped aside for their son, and then once you made that connection, they helped your predecessor set up the new system that got Valorian the stewardship. Because they couldn't do the same plan if they stayed in power. And they probably could. Right. They're older, but they're not that old. They were young compared to the Duke of Salutaris of Bellezza.
Right. Oh, that would be delightful. I shall make a point of it as soon as duties allow.
Very well. Oh, it looks like your car there, I think, with the... I'll never understand why you're so upset, why your house is so obsessed with blending in with its environment. It's like you're trying to defeat some naval guns from seeing you on the horizon.
Well, who knows? Tradition, that may have been where the tradition originates. But, to be fair, the Fallsgrapen has spent many a year in the front lines of Canley, so... camouflage may suit her temperament.
Perhaps it is fate. He smirks at the idea. He gets into the car without much ceremony.
Got to give a look at Mill and get in as well, and kind of engage her in very polite and friendly chatter, and see if in this ride I can glean any more information from her than maybe she's really wanting to give out about why she's here and what she's up to.
That will be a roll for sure. Pretty cheat sheet. Actual GMs. I will call that. Difficulty of 2. Communications, I believe.
Okie dokie. Trait of spy.
Yeah.
Trait of easy to talk to.
Yep.
That makes it a Div 0 task, I think.
Nice. Do you want me to assist since I'm in the car?
Sure, let's see if we can build up some momentum. I'll go for truth.
Yep.
Because I'm trying to discover the truth. I'm just going to roll flat.
I'll go with duty.
Okay, got 2 hits.
More. So between the two of you, as you chat with the Lady Alara, she is, you learn that she as envoy is trying to learn what House Bellezza is up to, because you guys have been doing a lot of moves, and that's concerning them as your liege house. It's like, okay, so is there something going on? What's wrong? What are you doing? So it's a general update without the formality or even the weight of a summons. Like it's not so important to summon her all the way down to the palace. It's like, no, we can just send an envoy and we'll ask them at the next meeting. Like it's not, we just want to know, get us in the loop. You haven't sent an envoy to us about this, so we'll just send one to you. No big deal. It's just, especially since you're a quick shuttle ride away. That's not that far for them. Also, they haven't sent an envoy to your palace recently. They Valorian, Arconis has, but Valorian hasn't. So, for appearance's sake, they need to send somebody at some point, and this is a good time as any to do it. The biggest exclamation point on this is what happened on Akaz, because that would have the Archduchess Akaz would have yelled at the steward of Silvanus to ask what the heck the Falsgrafen of Salutaris is up to. Like, what is your marshal doing on my planet? What is going on? It's like, well, I can't. Akaz technically could just talk to your house directly, but it's impolite. There's a far-fetched system for a reason. Follow the line, let it all sort itself out.
Right.
Besides, they have other things to deal with anyway, so they can't be sending off their envoy to a mission to some minor house for something that may not be even a big deal. If it is a big deal. That sounds like Valorian's problem. Fix it, Valorian. I don't want to deal with that. And she isn't trying too hard to. She goes through the motions of not telling you directly, but when you start asking things in a certain way, she answers you without really answering you. But you get what she's dropping.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So from this, do I get the feeling that Erica should receive her sooner rather than later, or can that kind of meeting between the two wait until after our monthly meeting?
You can spend a momentum for that.
Okay, sure.
As you think on it and how she's acting, what her mood is. You get the feeling that she's perfectly fine with touring Fortress Landing for a bit. Like, she's not in a hurry. Okay. She's just here, and she's just timing it because she knows at a monthly meeting you're all going to be here. So it's like, well, if I'm gonna go visit, there's no sense going there when you're not going to be there. So, and we don't want to summon you, so I'll just go when I know you're going to be home.
Okay, cool. So we've got time to brief Erica completely before she needs to talk to her.
As you're on the car ride, Moonshadow, I would like you to roll for me a understand roll difficulty of 2. There's something you think you see something as you're driving to the Fortress Landing inside your city, inside the capital city. Like, there's a certain
Physical
mood,
empathy,
a certain air going on. Physical
empathy and or danger sense.
Physical empathy would work, yeah.
Okay. I'll go with power, because I'm particularly interested in the power dynamics at play on this one. Admit. I'll just roll it. What was the difficulty again?
A 2.
I'll roll it straight. Yes, using a focus. Submit. Nice.
On the nose. You notice that there are a fair amount more Silvani tribespeople here. And you get the feeling that there is a lot more, the tribes are a lot more involved with Salutaris than it ever has been before. Not that they've never been here. I mean, you've worked here for years, long before Erica took the throne. But at the same time, there is a step up in presence. And you know, without really looking too hard, that also means it makes sense to see a lot of people from Sapweaver, because that's the one that the Falsgrafen has been treating with the most.
Yeah.
But you know that where a large amount of tribes people go, Moonshadows are there as well, because it's sort of how the sisterhood. If a lot of nobles go somewhere, there's always a sister somewhere in their number.
Gotcha.
For spiritual advisory, Moonshadows come along for personal security and enlightenment. It's usually how they hand weave it, but that's their presence is increasing. If the Sapweaver's presence is increasing, the Moonshadows' presence is increasing. wouldn't be shocked if a spy or two are actually like actively doing something here. Whether that's against or observing them, you don't know. It could be against the Spacing Guild. It could be against an anti-tribal element here on the moon. Without consulting with them, you don't know for sure.
Good to know.
I will note they're not on a war footing or anything like that. It's a very low-key presence that you just get a sense for. Looking into the ruler's apartments, Falskoff and Erica III, you are sitting with the Lady Gallia. You have probably returned from the surface by this point, I believe, because I think that's the last place you were. You were down on the planet doing stuff with the Sapweavers. You will have learned that you would be informed by this point that Johanna and Mill are on their way to you in a car, because you would have been informed they arrived at the spaceport, so someone would have radioed ahead. By the way, such and such code word such and such has arrived, which you know means that they've who specifically has gotten here. You're then told very quickly that Kareem Kabata is present, but he went straight to the treasury room to get ready for the meeting.
Okay.
Anything you do while in the ruler's apartment before the meeting starts in earnest, or before, at the very least, before Johanna and Mill arrive?
Yeah, I'll actually have Nightshade present.
Yep.
And I'll say, Colonel, it's very disturbing the attempts the Moon Shadows made to always have the superior tactical position. Like, they assumed violence was possible. I want you to draw up a plan to raise enough house guard to impersonate the condemned, so that we have a decoy, and I want to plan to outmaneuver them next time I go to visit. If the Moon Shadows decide to react violently to my questions, I want them to think that they have in a cauldron the condemned and can wipe them out easily, and I want them to be wrong.
You can enact this either by rolling as Erica, and this is using Octavia as a narrative device to do it, or you can have Octavia. You can activate Octavia and use her. I'm gonna.
Well, I can use her as an asset anyway.
Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, you get to use her as an asset. So I'm gonna call this difficulty 3 battle.
All right. My asset, the condemned, has the trait force power.
I'll bring it down to 2 because it's easier for them to move around down there than other units.
Oh wait, actually, I can hold them to use them to gain momentum, right? If I don't use that trait.
Correct.
Okay.
You're gonna keep a diff 3 and try to turn out some extra bonus momentum.
I'll use the asset land rights. I have places that I can station and direct troops from that I can restrict the Moon Shadows from accessing if I need to.
Makes sense to me.
A 2 can play at this game thing. Then yeah, then I'll attempt the diff 2 and I'll keep the marshal and the condemned to get bonus momentum from both of them.
Okay.
Focus of strategy.
Yeah.
And I think this is power.
Mm-hmm.
Does haunt? I don't. Where did I get haunted from? I don't.
Oh,
remember.
you. I forget. It's something.
I think it was from discovering that your son was not the son of the Falscroft.
Oh yeah, yeah. You learned of his genetic heritage, shall we say? He's a Beni Talaxu genetically.
Well, half Benny,
Why?
but yeah.
But I feel like there's a reason I put it on battle. I don't know why that would be on battle. That feels like that'd be on understand or something.
Oh wait, that would if it's on something, it's something you suffered, something you were doing something. I can't remember what you got haunted for.
If it's battle, it was probably.
The last thing you did battle with was like war, wasn't it? The purging the
Yeah,
cult.
but that's been so long ago. It wasn't that. I think it was probably something on the planet surface.
Hmm. Oh, it's
I don't
probably
remember.
doing the exercise when you were doing your force training. Because you did that after the cult fight, yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you really should get that looked at. If you're still suffering from complication from injuries.
I don't think it's been there that long. I think it's only been there one session or two, maybe.
That probably would have been when you visited the Sap Weavers. Something happened down
Yeah.
there. It's been a bit, so I forget what it's for at the moment.
I will spend a momentum. And then there's going to be 7 bonus momentum. Because the condemned are 4 and the War Master is 3.
And you generated 2. I went into the pool. So yeah, you have this stratagem in place such that the next time you send the condemned down, you can kind of do this little shell game moment of a false house guard that looks like the condemned, but they aren't. But to the average, unless they do a check to look into it, like investigate the unit, then they're on site. Just if I saw it on the board, I would point out to them, that's a house guard. Oh, that's not a house guard. That's a condemned unit. Well, that's the condemned unit. So unless they had a reason to suspect it's weird, they wouldn't challenge it. It's like, oh. It would become weird the minute if they ever fought it, because it'd be like, we do our quality +2 in damage. It does 2 damage. Wait a minute, they're higher quality than that. Why do they suck so bad? Why do they fight so terribly? It's like, that's because they're just a recently raised house guard in different uniforms.
All right.
It's like regular troops trying to. It's like Coriolis troops pretending to be Sardaukar. It's like, you can pretend to be Sardaukar, but there's a difference between you and them in fighting ability.
To get the advantage, identified something that, like, we've identified the place that seems to be the most protected as part of this strategy, because that'll help us in pushing buttons if we need to, like pushing them into this trap. And we have actually been down there.
Okay. I'll eat up 2 of the bonus.
And I guess it'll probably just last for this session, but in case I do this session, I'll spend 2 for las guns for the condemned,
Okay.
because this enemy would not have shielding. Right? I'm not incorrect in that. They don't use shielding at all.
Generally not, no, because the forests, it gives them enough cover. Shields create problems in the deep. Hard to be hidden when you have a shimmering shield pushing around the branches and the leaves.
Two for compelling deception, I guess. Just that this is not only a deception, that this that even if they do look into it, there's even a few more misdirects to stave off the discovery of the deception.
Essentially, I would put their difficulty at 3 instead of 2, because 2 would be the baseline to figure out that there's something wrong. So it's now 1 step harder because they look extra convincing. There's probably like extra convincing documentation that says, oh no, they're totally. There's like 2 sets of orders, and one is right, and one that's meant for people to find out about. So you get misled. Which, even if they know that there's 2 sets of orders, that just tells them that you're doing misdirection tactics, which isn't, that doesn't mean you have a second unit. That just means you're doing misdirection tactics. So they may underestimate what's going on.
And 1 off the table in that one to raise the difficulty to 4 and have false rank markings. Like among the fake uniforms, a lot of the people who've achieved some status or position have their fake counterpart with a reduced rank, so it looks like maybe there's some of the more capable senior leaders aren't here at the moment, so that this is not the condemned at their best. So if they do actually engage them or try to look at them, there's a reason that maybe they should only be at doing 3 damage instead of 4, so that there's a reason not to jump to conclusions about their not fighting at maximum capacity.
Like, oh, they're lower ranked ones. This must be a training unit of the condemned or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Colonel Octavia, between you and Colonel Octavia Nightshade, you're able to kind of come up with this plan, and it is enacted. She goes off to enact the plan. You are thus informed that at the end of that Silvanus Johanna and Richard Marshall Mill, as well as Treasurer Kareem, have all arrived. You're also informed that the Lady Alara Valorian has arrived at Fortress Landing, acting as envoy of House Valorian.
Yeah, when the attendant mentions all of this, Erica will say, and, the Marshal has seen the false graph to Dr. Jorg.
Unfortunately not, my liege. The Richard Marshall has not been successful in her mission. She comes to us injured.
I will say that last ep, when we found out about it, we messaged securely the Erica from Kaitan. Not like in detail, but so this shouldn't be the first time
Hearing it.
Erica's
Well, but I've not
emailed,
been on World.
Yeah, but you've been in the system, so I imagine messages sent to you here can get to you in the system. I mean, whichever. I'm just saying that we did narratively let you know.
It's up to you if you've seen it, or it's just it's the message is sitting on your desk. You just haven't had a chance to go over there and look, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll say because she's out in the Silvani Woods, she has not had the chance to read this.
Like, you got to the apartment and you're like, okay, I'm gonna talk to Nightshade for a bit. Okay, that took time. Oh, they got here. Cool. It's like, wait, we sent you a message. Yeah, that was a few hours ago. I just landed, so I didn't hear about that. The weirdness of messages, because the message would have arrived around the same time Johanna did. Because it would have been in the mail, right? They can't transmit information.
Yeah, that's right. It would have come on the Highliner with you.
Yeah.
Fair.
Actually, funnier still, there's mail for you, and someone would come over to hand you mail from the Highliner.
Yeah, Erica looks like her blood is about to boil, but she maintains some decorum, and she's, handed the mail. Is going to take this opportunity to read uninteresting reports from across the Empire to buy some time to cool off before, and then has to read that this message was sent, so it's just reinforced. So Erica is going to literally throw the communications come on those little spirals or something.
Yeah, sometimes, or sometimes they'll actually write it on a parchment to hand to people, or a data slate.
Okay, well, Erica's will have to buy a new data slate if she cannot contain the boiled over anger. And she will march with fury, throwing doors throughout the palace open until she arrives in the council chambers.
So, in council chambers, you would see Kareem Kabata. You would have just rolled in just now, like you were like fresh off the Highlander, and you have to go straight to the treasury room because you know there's a meeting, so you have a bunch of numbers you need to get updated on because you've been off world. Like, okay, and then you walk to the chamber. You see the normal cast of the conclave, as it were, but there's a new face who is wearing the pin of wearing noble's attire. And has a pin of she's in like House Valorian colors, so blue and white. She's dressed sort of in a mix. Imagine a lab coat or an academic like doctor's coat, but it's kind of melded into the sort of noble woman's outfit. She has like glasses. She looks to be mature of age, somewhere around 40, 50s or so.
Give her a nod, and apologies for being late.
Then, yeah, Erica will burst in through the doors, kind of take a look around, see Lady Valorian, and will say, in a very obviously restrained voice, "Lady, you are not of my house. With all due respect to your position, I would ask you sample our hospitality for a moment before I can accept envoys."
She does a polite little curtsy to you, and of course.
And so were all of the details of y'all, I guess, were the details of Kareem's adventures on the information y'all sent back?
Should have been, I think.
Remember that you wouldn't want to have too many details written because you can't encrypt anything. If I'm on a Highlander and I grab your data slate, you're dead to rights. I can just read it in plain English.
Yeah, so I mean, it would have been. We should set up some sort of house code, but it would have been the basics of diplomatic mission largely successful. Information, required information gathered and forwarded.
Does it mention the audit? Is really my question.
No, because that was like Kareem was audited before we went to Khitan, and then
now Johanna's being audited.
Yeah,
Okay,
but that went away once we decided to get on the ship. Like you said, by the time we arrived, it had just all the questions and everything had just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was to keep us from boarding that Starliner, and then we didn't let that happen.
Okay, I thought there was a incoming audit of the house.
No.
That's one of the rumors in the news of the Imperium.
Ah.
I think.
Yeah, the news isn't necessarily accurate. This is just what people think is going.
Right. Because, I mean, Kareem was audited and there was a threat to audit Joanna, but that went away. Mysteriously, the charges were all dropped, although we found out that was the Beni Teliaxu who were trying to prevent us.
All right, then Kareem escapes my wrath. Erica will turn her attention then towards Moonshadow, and she will say, "Marshal, I have given everything that a Falsgrafen can give to you. Why have you failed me?"
I apologize, Falsgrafen. Their forces were possessed of more reinforcements than I had anticipated.
So, where is he now?
TM, quick question for you. The folks that I had seen him, or that I had seen abscond with him, were the Bene Taliaxu, right? I'm not misremembering that.
No, they were in Chom security outfits.
Oh, okay, thank you. Prior to becoming injured, I last saw him in the custody of Chom security agents as they loaded him into a transport.
Silent pall drapes over the chamber.
Erica says, so how are you going to fix this?
I intend to deploy investigators to track down his new location and stage a more intense recovery expedition next time.
You
The
may do
SP
the first under the supervision of Johanna, but I will not suffer failure again. I will recover the false graph. Once Johanna has assured me you've not failed this time.
Mel will nod.
Her Nightshade gets a bit of a smirk on her face, but very quickly stamps the hell out of it because she's not supposed to be sniding at Shadow.
Our intelligence network will be put to work on this immediately, although unfortunately I do not have as many resources inside Chom as we might like. However, I have made some progress in getting some cooperation from the Spacing Guild's agents who like being fooled with by the Bene Taliaxu no more than we do. But we will, of course, do our best to discover the location of the false graph. I would also note that it could be possible and to at least investigate the possibility of negotiating with Chom for the false graphin's relief. Not that they will openly admit that they have them, but it would be at least interesting to learn what they're after in this assault against us. I mean, obviously they have taken exception to Kareem's investigations into major corruption within the organization. We also, as a house, it is my recommendation we look to build a coalition of our own within the board, starting here in the Silvanus system. Kareem and I have had discussions on Kaitan that indicate if we can get the houses in the system behind us, then other more major houses, including potentially even Atreides, might back us in the boardroom.
Erica says, I am this close to achieving that, but I find it nearly impossible when surrounded by incompetence.
I would
So-
point out to my lady that the Marshal lost many good men and women and her own arm in attempting to achieve her goals. Incompetence is not an issue here. Our forces were overmatched, and as a combat veteran yourself, my lady, you should well know that things on the battlefield do not always go as well as they do in the planning room. Denigrating those who only wish to serve you to the utmost of their ability does not serve the house or yourself.
I had not feigned to think that someone in this process had suffered. I must apologize, Marshal, for it surely is you who has suffered the most in this process. Erica says, never mind. Speak of what you must. You are moments away from me dismissing you all. As Erica tries to save a chance at having the meeting not fall apart.
If I may be permitted, Falsgrafen, perhaps if the greatest objective right now is to get your dear husband back, then perhaps all of our efforts should be focused on that. The Marshal was outnumbered and outmanned because, well, the architects of the house did not fully stand behind her. Divided, we stood perhaps little chance. United, we may stand more of a chance.
Sorry for that groan there, I'm old.
Erica says, Treasurer, please turn to the numbers and avoid this topic further.
Very well, Your Highness.
So do we engage in house management at this point?
We better do something other than talk about this.
So, well, yeah, but Lady Galia wants to talk about it and just peel at the wound a bit while it's fresh. No,
As long as she's peeling at Mill's wounds and not mine, I don't care.
So, news of the Imperium. Tensions rise as rumors circulate that House Akaz and House Mortani are on the brink of a ceasefire. Reports suggest that negotiations, though tenuous, may soon bring an end to the war of assassins between the two houses. The potential peace deal has many speculating about the redistribution of power within the Landsraad and what alliances may shift as a result. The next point, in the Silvanus system, whispers of corruption have surfaced concerning the Mentat treasurer of House Bellezza, Karim Kabada. Accusations of illicit dealings within the Chom markets have led to calls for an audit of House Bellezza's finances. Some claim Kabada has been involved in laundering money for the Falsgraf, deepening the scandal. How these allegations will impact House Bellezza's standing in the Imperium remains to be seen. Third point, rumors have emerged that the heir to House Bellezza has been sent to the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood for secret training. This move, if true, signals a strengthening of ties between House Bellezza and the Sisterhood, potentially increasing their influence in the complex web of the Imperium. Speculation abounds regarding the Sisterhood's ultimate intentions for the heir. Fourth point, On the capital planet of Kaitan, subtle yet significant diplomatic efforts are reportedly underway. Silvanus Johanna Rashid and Mentat Karim Kabata of House Bellezza are said to be quietly organizing a firm message to House Alaka, asserting that House Bellezza is not to be underestimated. Meanwhile, Falsgraf and Erica has made a significant deal with the Duke of Agrestis, securing the strategic Ironwood garrison, which could shift the balance of power in the Silvanus system. Lastly, Marshal Richard Mill Moonshadow of House Bellezza has been spotted on Kaz, where they are rumored to be meeting with underground contacts. These meetings are believed to involve the exchange of critical information, possibly relating to the ongoing conflict with House Moritani. The secrets uncovered during these clandestine gatherings could have far-reaching consequences for the political dynamics of the... I will note that your respect level has gone up by 5, because for some reason, you are the focus of news in the Imperium right now. Everyone wants to know what you guys are up to.
Woohoo! Fame. Not necessarily always woohoo, but woohoo.
Is that our house ranking number, or
Your status. So your status
okay, yeah.
was 35. It is now 40. You might have moved up a step. Moving up a step is fine. It's when you move too fast. If you get too high before you rank up, then people start thinking you have ambitions for the Lion Throne or something like that. Like you come off as a bigger threat than you are actually capable of presenting.
I'd just like to say, us and what army?
Well, apparently you have a big army. According to if the status is big enough, it's like I don't know. Maybe they're up to something.
forest power?
Blah, 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 blah.
Status.
Page 90 in the hard book, anyway.
Alright, we'll whiz right by it. You're still within respected, but if you get any more points, you're going to be considered a strong house.
Okay, so we need to do things on the down low.
The next step, just so you know mechanically, all difficulties for house actions reduce their difficulty by 1 step, as other houses are hesitant to stand in their way. The people of the house are are more confident and enthusiastic to be on the winning team and work harder for the house. So being strong is fine. That actually makes your house actions more effective. If you break 50 status, you start coming off as problematic. You start becoming a strong house is fine. That's good for the Imperium. A problematic house or dangerous house is something you need to start sending agents to and stuff.
Well, and we actually want to get to strong before becoming a major house, because if we are less than 40 when we shift from minor to major, we'll drop down to weak.
Yeah, because among major houses, you're considered weak.
At a minor house,
Evil
that our house seat had us at status 40.
Yeah.
So we crossed over to strong, I think.
No, I just ticked it up to 40. You were at 35.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I forgive you.
Well, great.
All right. So that's the news.
That's what you guess, unless you subscribe to his channel, folks.
Shh! Don't tell them the secret. Yeah, if you subscribe now, you actually get a bonus to Apple stuff currently. So.
Boo, Apple.
Oh. Is there any other rumors you wish to inject into the news of the Imperium that may or may not be true?
House Harkonnen faces a slave rebellion.
Huh.
Okay.
The price of mercenaries system-wide has gone up, as supposedly mercenaries are opposed to work against high-profile targets, citing them as dangerous.
Any other rumors you want to float out that may become true? Careful what you float out there.
The level of corruption of certain elements within CHOAM has reached a point where it is causing where it is causing other CHOAM members has reached a point where other CHOAM members are becoming more disgruntled with the blatant operations of certain factions. Basically, the rumor is that, some things are fine as long as you keep it quiet, but when they get out of hand, it hurts us all.
Fair enough.
I didn't phrase that very well, but I think you get the gist.
Yeah, I usually scale back in the VODs to think about the rumors and how true they actually are. Sometimes.
Hell, I'll start that rumor.
Yeah. So the next step is your income, to figure out exactly how much money you've made so far from your primary and secondary domain, plus whatever favors or big payouts you've done. Because I think a payout happened on Kaitan.
Right. Well, let me open up the thing. So, we had 0 wealth left from the last time, if I'm not mistaken. This month we are supposed to get an additional 13 wealth from ventures in accordance with our standard wealth gain. Quickly, just need to remind myself how much we gain per month. Where can we find that?
It's up top of your ledger, the resources and wealth. 60 and 19.
Oh, we get 60 per month.
60 wealth, 19 resources, and looks like we have 15 banked resources, not wealth.
Negative. We got 0 banked.
No, resources, not wealth.
Yeah, resources. Yeah, we got 15 resources banked. All right, let's start fresh. Then I'll start to edit this. So we are on month 4. We have 0 wealth, in brackets plus 13, and 15 resources. All right, we get 60 plus 13, that's 73 wealth. Delete this, and we get 15 plus 19, 34. Is my math okay, everybody? Anybody double checking me? No? Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
wealth
it works
calculated.
on my end.
What's next?
Next is figuring out what events have gone on. Sometimes stuff just happens. Who wants to roll a single d20 for me?
Who hasn't?
Sure.
No, go ahead.
Imperium goes on. 14, your respected house. For once, there's no opportunity and no crisis. It's just a normal month in the Imperium, as far as House Bellezza is concerned.
You'll have that from time to time.
Honestly, I'm happy with that. That can stay.
Now you're in upkeep.
Okay, well, let's talk about who wants to get paid. Johanna definitely needs to get paid.
Well, we've got to do our house stuff first.
Right, the staff. How much are we in on the staff again?
Well, no, the military power, population, all the super basic stuff.
Right. To maintain our status and whatnot, right?
Military power.
Right. So, okay, that's all those stats. There we go. So we are currently at military power, planetary defense, Diff 3 level. We got population loyalty at acceptance, lifestyle noble.
Okay, give me a second. So, how much for upkeep of the PDF?
PDF?
Planetary
Defense.
Defense Force.
That's 30.
30 is an assault force.
Yeah.
Do we want to keep that?
Oh
or...
yeah, I think maybe we erased. I
We had an
changed it.
assault force because
Yeah, I changed it on the mount on the sheet, but not the name.
Do we want to keep that, or do we want to de-tier it?
I don't know that Eric is going to be willing to de-tier it. Force, and that also brings the difficulty up to 4.
I mean, Winchester, do you want to keep it, or...
we have. Let me see. GM, what's the thought on Inslee's suggestion of allowing for a modified venture of the Chum agreement to get the false scruff rather than the 10 wealth? Or maybe the using the Chum influence one. These page 110 and 111.
Chome influence.
There's Chum agreement and Chum influence.
I would say you could do Chome agreement, but instead of gaining 10 wealth next house management, you basically you're allowing them to invest it for Chome rather than for you in particular. So the wealth overall of Chome goes up, and you get through various directors and agents of those directors. Chome as a whole will go, well, this person wants their false crop back. Okay, that happens. Like they basically they'll use the Chome forces to move him to where you are.
If we use slightly more wealth and difficulty for Chum influence, can we get that without giving them a boon for wealth, because we've gotten ourselves embedded enough into Chum to...
You could do that. That would be you making sure that you are going out of your way to do Chome deals and get in boardrooms and get involved in stuff that's like, it's one of those, I am spending a lot of money and time to make sure that Chome does well. Pissing me off is not a good idea, because you are unless you've given your directorship to somebody, you are the director. So of House Bellezza. So it's like House Bellezza is making an effort to be more involved in Chome affairs with that much wealth and that much time. You know what? Maybe having the director be happy with you is a good thing.
All right, then Erica will say,
Hey, one final mechanical question on this. Will
Sure.
the cost of this boon stay at 10 wealth, or is that going to go up?
It would say at 10. That's a significant amount of money.
Okay, cool.
Just
checking.
so
Oh yeah.
So Erica will say that Cream is shown capacity for success that is desperately needed. So I'll authorize the reduction in our standing to to ground defense and rely on the house's shield.
Yeah.
So we'll go down from 30 to 10.
A most excellent and wise decision.
Erica looks at Kareem like, don't push your luck.
All right. Actually, Joanna would argue against going all the way down to ground defense. I could support reducing it to planetary defense, but we don't want to leave all of our orbital infrastructure vulnerable. So planetary defense kind of gives us that orbital protection.
How much would that cost us? 20?
20. So we go down from 30 to 20.
Oh, it's actually not so bad. I'd second that.
you're probably gonna have to get Moonshadow on your side to force that issue.
I'm surprised I'm having to argue to keep military power higher than what you're wanting to do.
Because I need money.
Well, yeah, but
Right.
what I'm saying is going down to planetary defense still gives you the 10 you need for the boon. Plus, we got 13 extra this round.
Well, we normally pull that off by not paying half of our people.
Okay.
So I'm trying to free up enough money to pay everyone and do this. So I'm not, yeah.
Yeah, I am, but yeah, I think leaving our orbital facilities, particularly since we have been developing new ones in that new space of turf that was uncovered a few sessions ago, is.
We don't have any enemies that are likely to attack us outright over our own planet at the moment, though. Agrestis has been brought to heel. So I'm not particularly worried. That's why I think we can do it, because our biggest kerfluffle right now is with the Beni Talaxu and Chom, neither of which solve their problems with battleships.
Well, I mean, Chom has been. Well, I mean, of course, if we do this deal, we're not going to have to worry about Chom sending mercenaries after us. What do you think, Mill? If thou art speaking, you are being like me and being muted.
Oh, no, Ensley. The silence is damning.
Oh. Mic fight. Gator.
Yeah.
Is your headset hard button pressed? Because that is a button on the side. Grand conspiracy has been achieved. Like being able to silence Moonshadow.
Her arm
Oh.
hurts so much she can't speak.
How about we take a quick bio break while she figures it out?
Sure.
I need to pee anyhow.
That's why people call it bio break, so you don't have to say the exact thing you're going to do.
Yeah, well, now you know.
So yeah, we'll be right back after a short break. So don't go too far, folks. I have returned. Let's see how they're all doing. And it seems like they're solved. All should be well in a moment. Hello, everybody. Wow. Okay. And back we go.
Pretty high.
Hello, we're
Um,
back.
But it was just so many mornings. I was like, I guess I'll be responsible and not go add to someone's problems.
Yeah, for those of us who have to go in the office regularly, my wife and I determined that with climate change, big rain is like the new snow days.
Honestly, I don't know if that's worse than, heat wave after heat wave of 37 degrees Celsius, but
Oh yeah, God, we had that too. But no major flooding really in Shelby, but we did get to work from home.
Yeah, we're back on. People are good to... Yeah, author, same here.
Okay.
God, we are dying here, yeah. Well, don't worry, we just have to tough it out, you know? It's just... More fossil fuels, let's go.
that's our lot in life.
Frack,
So-
baby, frack.
Mill, how about that army?
Uh, I can volunteer to go without pay this cycle, if that helps.
Well, okay, let's maybe if we jump ahead, what are you wanting to pay for? Winchester.
Well, it's obviously the
Um,
thing, right?
Well, yeah. So you need 10 wealth to deal with Chome, and then there's a lot of other good things the money could be used for. We could pay pretty much everybody, if not everybody. We may be able to. There may be another venture. It's just this is an opportune moment. There's not many times we can afford to do this, but right now, we can. And if we do actually have to fight a battle in space, the War Master has a battleship as an asset, so we're not completely with. And I have the house shield as an asset, right? So if we have to, if we actually get into a situation where there's going to be a space battle because someone's attacked us, we actually, through assets, have difficulty 2.5 basically.
Don't we have a couple destroyers too? Am I remembering right? We captured a
Not as
couple?
assets.
Oh, okay.
I'll also note
just-
too, you do have supposedly allied houses in your area that if you're being attacked by an outsider, they might rush to your aid if you call for them.
And yeah, and the people who could attack us without going through the spacing guild are not going to anymore.
All right. Okay. Am willing to be convinced, but I will probably want to revisit this next month, maybe.
I have no idea what. Yeah.
Right.
I probably would be back up to wanting an invasion fleet next week.
That's ground defense, which is diff
10.
2 and costs us 10.
Yep, so we've got 63 wealth. How much to keep up our citizens' way of life and happiness?
They were at acceptance, which is 10.
Want to keep it at that?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't see any need to lower it, certainly, and
And for our way of life?
noble,
Lifestyle.
which is 10.
Another 10. Do we want to lower that or?
No.
Yeah.
Go down to
And-
5, you'll become poor.
And the next step up is like plus 20. So, yeah.
Okay, so after all these base costs, so wealth after base costs, we are down to 43 wealth.
You have your house skills to pay for to make sure your house operates the way it's supposed to.
How much is that?
House skills to keep them where they are.
It's like 10
Is
according to your
10.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, 10.
Minus 10 for house skills. Do we want to keep those where they are, or?
You can't really spend to make them better. You have to do a venture to turn your skills up. You're just making sure that your skills are being paid for. Because if you don't spend, if you're like desperate for wealth, you can try to underpay your skills. The problem is your skills permanently increase when you do that.
Right.
Oh, so we don't want to do that.
Yeah, you almost never. You only want to ever underpay your house skills if you're desperate for wealth.
Okay, what's next?
House rolls, paying your architects and advisors.
We have 33 wealth after all base costs in that case.
Okay, well, let's see. You cost 5.
Yes.
The Johanna costs 10.
Yes.
I cost 2.
Yes.
Galia costs 2.
Mm-hmm.
Nightshade costs 5.
That's at 24.
It's at 24. And how much do we have?
33. Now,
33. So
we can use, I don't know if this works out to where we can use it here, but I know we can use a venture to trade in resources for wealth, but GM, that doesn't really help us at this point, right?
Right, yeah.
No, that's later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then I will go without a salary because I need us to have at least 10 wealth. And we'd only have 9 if I got paid.
Okay, so talk to me. Who am I paying?
You're paying everybody but me.
Did you get the marshal in there?
I did. I did.
Okay.
Marshal.
What is the marshal?
2. Okay.
Marshal's 2. Okay, so Moon Shadow 2. We have Galia 2.
The Moon Shadow costs.
Dude, they're just a marshal.
Oh, they're 2. I was putting them in as. Hold on a second. So the marshal is 2.
So currently we're on 19. 19 out of 33.
Hold on. You're 10. The War Master.
Yeah, I'm still getting 24.
Who am I missing? So I'm 2.
So yeah, I've got without you, I've got Spymaster 10, Consort 2, Marshal 2, Treasurer 5, War Master 5. So Treasurer and War Master make 10, Spymaster makes 10, and then Consort and Marshal is 4.
War Master is Nightshade, right?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, then that's right. I will go without.
Okay.
So myself, Johanna, Moonshadow, Galia, and Nightshade are getting paid.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a total of 5.
So you're not rehiring that doctor again?
He hasn't. No, he hasn't been hired in like 3 months.
Yeah. It's like, hey, if you want me to come back, it's 15. Now we're good. We need that well. The doctors are expensive to maintain.
Yeah, I was about to say, if it's kind of sucks that if you as a player want to play a Sook Doctor or a Swordmaster of Ganaz, you're gonna bankrupt the other players.
Right. Well, it turns into are you willing to take the wealth or not? Because that's the thing. It's like, well, I just want to have the wealth asset. My character is just serving for the love of the house, sort of thing. It's like, or let's try to make more wealth because I want to get paid.
It's just so handy for a Spy Master to have a wealth asset.
Can you flip us over to the domain map?
No.
It looks like our total for house upkeep and staff
Was
is 44.
we have 9 wealth left after all salaries, if I got my calculations right.
No, I think you're off.
Our
there.
wealth after our base costs was 33. Once we paid out all the salaries we wanted, we paid 24 out of 33.
No,
in
we
salaries.
only paid 22 because I didn't take mine.
I wasn't counting you, so myself, Johanna, that's 15. Moonshadow is another 2, that's 17. Galia is another 2, that's 19. And Warmaster Nightshade is another 5, which makes 24.
Yeah, that's the amount I have too.
And we had 33 left.
Oh,
Ergo,
well then,
9 left.
someone else is gonna have to.
Now wait a minute. Hold on. So let me see what we spent. It's okay for
Final boss of this game, math.
yeah, God, no doubt.
You know why I didn't want to be treasurer? This is why I didn't want to be treasurer.
So we had 73. First thing we had to do was house upkeep in each of the 3 categories: military power, population loyalty, and lifestyle was 10 each. So that's 30.
Yep,
Salary
and then
are-
another 10 for house skills.
Right. So that's 40. 64. Yeah, you're right. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 64 is the total, not 44.
Yep, therefore, we have 9 left.
Yeah.
I can go without pay.
Sorted.
That puts you to 11, yeah.
22 for salaries, down to 60.
Because I paid for myself with that venture that I did at the beginning of,
Yeah.
what was it, 3 sessions ago? Where I earned 13.
Yeah.
So for these spaces here, we don't have to do the claim domain, right? We just have to do the domain facility.
Yeah, because those have already been scouted out, but that was from an event a couple months ago where
Yeah.
it was already scouted by people. So yeah, here's some good orbital spots to put things.
You wanna
All right.
Put another
I think that was
farm
like the Spacing
processing?
Guild did that.
We're
or something like
gonna,
that.
I think, do 2.
Well, you only get 2 ventures, and you got to save one of them for the Chome deal.
Oh, I thought.
But we can buy more
I didn't-
ventures.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you-
didn't
this
realize.
is-
Okay.
Yeah, this is where you can exchange to buy more ventures, I think.
Yeah, it's 10 wealth for an extra venture. You start with 2 normally. If you want more than 2, then you need.
Right. So,
Well, we can't pay y'all and get another venture.
well, no, we can, because we can trade resources, and since we have a spaceport, we can pretty much, I think, trade as much as we want, or all the way up to half of what are we?
I think
Up
it
to
was as much
half.
as we want. I know. Or...
Spaceport.
No, there's a limit. There's a limit.
It's up to
Yeah.
half. I'm looking at it.
Yeah. So, and we've currently got
But that,
34 resources.
That also
And-
requires a venture, right?
Yeah, but I mean, so you've got to, if you want an extra one, you've got to be able to trade enough to actually buy 2 extra.
You need at least
So-
20 resources to buy.
Right.
Oh, you
But-
can buy more than one.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
If
It's
you're
just
if
10
you're super wealthy, you get to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It's
How
10 wealth
much
a piece.
resources do we have?
We have 34, and for every resource you get 3 wealth.
Correction, we have... No, you're right. Sorry, 34.
'Cause
Okay.
It's, yeah,
We
1 to 3.
Only. Okay, let me.
Yeah, each resource gains 3 wealth, and we need
Okay.
20.
We can only convert half though. Half of our resources is 17 resources.
Right. 17 times 3
Is 51.
51 wealth, which means we could easily spend 20 to buy. Because it's just 10 per venture, so we need to buy 2, so we need to have 20 to spend.
Oh, hold on. So to get the possibility of purchasing wealth for resources, we have to spend. Oh no, it's 20 wealth to get two extra actions.
Right, you're paying, yeah, but we've got to
Okay.
convert resources into wealth to pay.
I'll
yeah.
also point out, just out of completeness sake, I don't think you guys want to do this, but I'll point it out. You can drop your population to loyalty by 1 to get an extra venture, because basically you overwork your populace.
No, I don't want to do that.
So I'd throw it out there. There's a reason why Harkonnen has saved some of its wealth. It just works its people to death.
So, I mean, if we convert 7 resources to wealth, it gives us 21 wealth to buy 2 extra ventures. So
How
we get 3 total.
how many did we need for a secondary domain?
10 claimed domains. Or no, 10 domain facilities.
And we have 2, 3. We have 3.
Well, no, we got 2 on the planet, I think.
And 1 in space.
Well, right. We actually have 2 in space, so one of them is not farming.
We have a bunch in space that are not farming.
Yeah, I was talking about ones we bought
Yeah.
recently, like that one. But
Okay, so
had to do. Yeah.
How-
So we.
okay, so our first venture, right, is going to be to convert 17 resources into 51 wealth.
Okay.
All right.
There's no check for that. You just do it.
And then our next venture, right, is to buy more ventures.
Well, no, that doesn't cost a venture.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
thank
cost a venture.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we do that as we go? Can
You certainly can, yeah. Because you're basically sitting on a bunch of money and figuring out what you're in the venture phase, so you're figuring out what you're doing.
Okay. Well then, for our next venture, we spend. Okay, so we have 61 wealth.
62.
Yeah, we had 11 left over.
Okay, we have 62 wealth. We use 10 of it to on Chom influence.
Okay, who's gonna negotiate? Who's gonna be sitting in the Chome boardroom doing a communicate roll, difficulty of 3, to increase your influence in Chome such that Chome feels like doing you a favor? It's like, you know what? You've done a lot for Chome and helped the market bounce back in a way that it hadn't without your influence. I think the false graph just happens to be heading your way for some reason. That's weird. Wonder why that happened.
What's your communicate, Kareem?
Oh, don't send me into Chome, please.
I think I have to do this to keep him from blowing them up.
Okay. What's your Tom?
8.
Oh God, yeah.
yeah.
As you go down to the Palace Silvanus City to work in the Chome director's office, because you have an office there, because you're one of the 3 directors, one of the 4 directors of the 5 directors technically, but the chief doesn't come here often.
Communicate power, because I'm wielding all the influence a director has.
Yeah, because you're affecting how space skilled stuff is done, how farming stuff is done. What is your thing? Spacecraft and artistic workers. So you're helping influence, probably dealing with the Spacing Guild to a degree and how their parts are made and securing future deals, but also securing artistic endeavors for other houses that are interested and they want to jump the queue. And well, you're a director, you can make that happen. You can make stuff happen a lot faster than otherwise.
I will use.
Plus the various nobles on play.
I use the asset land rights because it has the keyword production to wield some economic influence here and try to bring down the diff.
You can bring it down. It's like, look, I'm not in the farming business yet, but I'm starting to get into it, so maybe we can start doing some futures deals. I mean, well, what proof do you have? Well, actually, I'm already going into the deep woods, so if you want to get in on the ground floor, this is the time to do it. Before it becomes a whole domain, I get to charge you way more.
Focus in diplomacy.
Certainly.
I'll spend 1 momentum.
The target was reduced to 2, so you generate 2 momentum as you wield some rather heavy hand influence of even a minor house director is still a chome director. You make a lot of wealth move. You spent enough money to pay for like 10 wealth is significant. That's enough to field an army. And that's how much money you're spending to make sure chome ventures go a lot smoother here than they otherwise would have. Chome as a whole goes a lot more efficiently. They don't get a boon as an organization, but you've now made a lot of other people's lives a lot easier dealing with your house because normally you have people under you that do this stuff. You don't go into the office all the time. You frankly have other stuff to do with your life. You personally have gone into the office and made things happen in the marketplace. And maybe alerted them to the fact that there's a new market coming out, so now a bunch of investors might want to start investing now rather than later. I will say unto you because of that, especially since you did so well, next month you're gonna a Chome representative's gonna want to speak with you. Like they're gonna send someone to talk with you about a special deal that a great house wants to do. They can't come to you now, but they're letting you know that a great house is interested in the future of Bellezza. So they're going to send a Chome representative to talk to you about it. Or they might send a house envoy. They don't know precisely what that great house is going to do, but they know they're going to send somebody.
Can I spend 2 to help to create some trait that will help alleviate the intensity Chom is after Kareem with, like, not to undo what he's did, but to make them kind of think, oh, the false griffin's taken an interest here, and that's sidelined him, so we're not as worried about him.
I'll take that. Yeah, it gives the appearance that he's not that you're looking after the Chome more than you are his vision. You're on our side. We're part of the same corpo team. It's like, look, I came into the office. That doesn't mean we're on the same team, but it looks like we are.
So that leaves us with 52.
Yep.
Okay. And we have 17 resources.
Yes.
So I say we spend 30 of that to build 3 domain facilities, filling out kind of our area of space. That gets us.
You mean 15?
What did I say? 30.
30.
But 30 wealth to get the actions.
Oh, right.
And 15 resources to actually build them.
Well, it takes 12 resources to claim. Oh, that's claiming domain.
That's claiming domain. We're
I'm
only
awake, I
building
swear.
facilities.
Building domain facilities costs 5 resources per. So make sure you have enough resources to build what you're building.
Yeah, we do.
Good.
Claiming the 3 left in orbit here.
Yeah, to help do the SAP processing.
Right.
So that's that's another venture. We spent how much money on a third venture?
We're gonna buy 3 more ventures for
That's
30 wealth.
Ooh, dear.
That leaves
okay.
us with 22 wealth in case we want to
Yes.
do something else. But this gets us more than halfway to finishing this as a secondary domain. And finishing this as a secondary domain is the last trigger before we take over as stewards. Not that it won't be painless for us to take over, but the chance we have at a painless coup happens when we get this is a secondary domain.
Because you're also dealing with a benevolent liege who's like, hey, as long as you you hit the threshold and you show you can be a major house, you know what? I'll give you a shot.
Right.
You're not fighting an entrenched liege.
That
Not
leaves us with
currently.
two, which I thought, I didn't know if anyone else had suggestions.
You may want to figure out if you make the domain facility rolls, because this is a difficulty one.
You're right.
You might whiff these and have to figure out what you're going to do. Who's building the first orbital facility? You're building a farm. It's a discipline roll, difficulty 1.
I can do one. I've got a 7 discipline. Duty? Duty.
Believe it or not, those watching this, we're all mature adults here.
Yeah, it's called a bio roll.
Speak for yourselves, loser.
Yeah, speak for yourself, Corby.
Are you kidding me?
Eat my shorts.
Okay, Bart.
The diff 1, I'll give you a momentum for 3 dice.
Sure. Up to establish a farming orbital. Generate 1.
Gain 1.
There you go.
That's 1 orbital. So we're 4 out of 10 for a new domain, or new secondary domain.
So Johanna goes up and manages the building process of a new farming orbital in orbit of Salutaris. In a sort of shared orbit that kind of one of the Lagranges around Salutaris, yeah. Actually, it'll be around Silvanus. I got it backwards because this line is Silvanus stuff, but it's
Yeah. So we have 2 more.
domain facility attempts.
Okay.
Does someone else want to build one of these, or is it going to be another Johanna project? I'll note I have some threat. I might make this difficult for Johanna.
Witches in space, building things.
I wanted to sort of further our agenda where we become a bigger economic powerhouse in the system where, people, at least economically, start to somehow bow to us.
That is what this is. That is exactly what this is.
Yes, so it is. I was actually thinking of maybe building a mine as well.
Well, the difficulty is because if we're going for a secondary domain, we need to keep everything like agricultural to get there ASAP. Of course, it does.
Okay, so no mines.
It does. I mean, it does generate 2 extra resources. But yeah.
It does take 10 resources to build a mine.
Oh
yeah, we don't actually have enough resources to build a mine.
Oh, so we built farmland for 10, right?
No.
5.
We did it 3 times, 5 each.
Yeah, so 17. So we currently have 2 resources left in the bank.
Alright, Jesus Louise. Okay. We actually don't have enough resources to build anything anymore, right?
Well, you still have to do rolls to build the farms. You guys can't biff these and waste 5 resources on a farm orbital. Doesn't work.
Yeah,
so
they're not built yet.
Like, if you were gonna build a mine, this would be the time to. That would be 10 resources to. Wouldn't be able to build anymore. You wouldn't be able to expand, build domain facilities. You wouldn't have enough resources to build them.
Now keep in mind there are boon ventures that cost wealth instead.
Yeah, I'm looking
So-
at those right now and what we can afford.
Yes, sir.
Um,
So by my calculations, after we should still have one left over because we bought 3.
No,
No.
we
I'm
have
wrong.
we have bought 3, which we're going to use for the domain facilities, and we have 20 2 wells.
Right.
That we could use to do other things. That may be buying another venture to do something, but it would be a boon venture.
Yeah. What we need to do now is roll for the 3 facilities.
yeah, go ahead and do that before we can discuss further, because let's see if we wasted our resources or not.
So
Okay,
who's-
I guess since Joanna's in orbit, I'll do the second one as well,
Okay.
unless somebody else wants to.
My discipline's not very good. Maybe Moonshadow's it.
Sec. I'll check. Mine is kind of mediocre. It's 6.
It's
I'm
only
at a
diff
solid-
1.
I'm at a solid
Okay.
5, so
Until he spins threat.
She was
Yeah.
more likely to do against you, is what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
I'll probably pick on Johanna because she'd be managing 2 builds in the same month.
All right. I can try to build this.
Discipline difficulty 1. Establish a new farming orbital in orbit of Silvanus.
All right. I will use duty.
You shush over there. I hear you giggling.
Yeah, author.
Do I want extra dice? I'll spend for 1 more die. Because I don't have a focus to rely on here.
Hey, you generated 1 back.
Groovy.
You help as a martial ritter help establish it. I think it's the first time you felt build something. You know?
I think so.
So yeah, you get to see the how and actually to some degree, I'll note that a few of the Silvani workers who help build this thing are actually quite, they kind of look up to you. They think you're showing that there's a path for a Silvani tribes person to work for other noble houses and to be an architect, no less. Like there's architects within the tribes, but sometimes people want to leave the forest and they wonder how viable that process is, and you're showing it is very viable. They know someone in their generation that's done it. That's worked from commoner to being ennobled. It's not something everyone can do, but hey, it's possible. Which some traditionalists in the Powerful Fetches system may not like, that you're engendering that sort of upward mobility. The Powerful Fetch system isn't supposed to be about mobility. It's about maintaining power. But there are ways to use that to your advantage, as Bellezza is proving.
Mm.
So who wants to build the 3rd one? I'll note if either the Marshal or the Spymaster do it, I will likely spend threat to make it harder.
Heck, I mean, I can do it, but it won't be good.
It's up to
I
you
mean, it's a
guys.
diff
I'm just warning you.
I'll give it a shot.
Discipline difficulty 1.
And we have some momentum for a die.
Discipline duty. Duty.
Yeah.
I want to spend threat just out of spite now, but that's not fair.
Yeah, well, I'll take that 1 momentum. No focus.
Hey, generated it
I'll
back.
take it back. Yeah. Okay. Well.
And you've never helped build something before, right?
No, I don't think so.
So I'll note that there's a similar vibe among the non-Silvani, just the regular common folk. I mean, you're not just regular common folk. You are Order of Mentech graduate. That is, if you want to talk about making your path to working for a house is the most difficult, but it's the most high paying. It's like if you want, even a Mentat who isn't part of a house still gets paid pretty well to do the work. if you can get through the process. But that said, it's still that look of a commoner who managed to get in with a minor house and is part of a project that's building and improving the area. You're getting a lot more jobs. Some people actually start thinking on Salutaris. A lot more people are thinking about maybe they should try sending their kids to the Order of Mentats. It's expensive and it's a big gamble because that's a lot of years out of a kid's life, and they may or may not make it. But you know what? You're making it look like it's worth the gamble.
Oh, how little you know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's 3. That's a lot of stuff you've built too. Like inside of a month, you have built what takes people 3 years to do, or a whole year to do. So there is a upward. There's an economic boom happening. Care of House Bellezza.
Furthermore, I have an idea on perhaps what we should do as a boon venture. It sort of fits with our narrative where we want to be like rulers of the system and stewards and whatever. We should cultivate unity to screw over Corby.
Yeah. So 10 to buy another venture and 10 to cultivate unity.
As the house spends time and resources on training their agents to work well together. This is just straight up you guys working together. And you're like, we're going to get to know each other better, like to discuss how we do things and how our different agents work for us, how they do their things. But who's leading this charge to go back to capital and everyone starts sharing how... Who's managing this effort to cultivate unity?
My understand is 8. I can do something perhaps. Unless anyone has a better one.
I could use Galia, who has an understand of 8, and she hasn't done anything yet, so she may not get penalized.
That is true.
Though, to screw over Corby, we have to help him out by giving him 5 threat to use her, so...
I don't mind if, like, my understand, I could potentially use truth with it, or justice or duty. It's going to be either a 16 or a 15. Like, I don't mind a higher difficulty with this one.
If you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I will spend 2 threat to make it a little harder because you've all been... Part of it is you've already done something this month and you're trying to do this cultivate unity while managing the farm orbital. But also everyone's doing something. So it's a lot of, okay, let's find a free time where all of us for like at least an hour or 2 can sit down and go, okay, let's dedicate time to just figuring out precisely how we all do things.
We'll sit everyone down around a table. It's like, hey guys, so we've been doing this and this and that this month. Isn't that great? Don't we all feel great about that? Like, here's some economic projections. In about X amount of years, we're going to be a super... Diff 4, screw you.
It's Diff 3 as base. I just added 1.
Well, we'll try it. 1 momentum, 2 threat.
Yep.
No focus.
Oh.
I have no statement.
I will let people assist since this is cultivate unity.
But that's 2 comps.
It is.
I'll try to assist.
Yeah.
You'd rather get 2 comps on a success than 2 comps on a fail.
How many dice is it to try to
one.
assist again? Just 1? Alright.
I mean, I have the damn thingy, the determination, but
Would
I
physical
haven't got a
empathy
statement.
apply?
Because you haven't spent time learning your new truth statement.
Yeah.
Would physical empathy apply as I
Yeah, because you're trying to understand how everyone else works. Like, okay, well, does that piss you off? Does that make you better? Oh,
There
I see
you
how
go.
so you actually gain 1.
Sweet.
So, do we want to buy off the comps with 4 threat?
Yeah, because I already have 2 comps on me. I'll take 1, and you can take 2 for the other.
You're going to suffer 1 comp and give me 2 for the other?
Yeah.
Well, I will bestow upon you the complication of Patient. This was understanding. I am going to throw the complication into your understand of overthinking. You're finding that it's a lot simpler than you think it is working with everyone, and everyone kind of, there's a lot, the math of it isn't nearly as complex as you think it is. It's like, oh, it's just a matter of this person talking to this person, or, oh, by the way, let this person do that. It's like, oh, well, shoot. Now, and so even after the meeting, you're going to be kind of thinking about, maybe that's wrong. That seems too simple. It's like, it's not simple. It is that simple. Are you sure?
So I suffer a complication on understanding rules.
Yep. So you spend some time to deal.
So I suffer a penalty. Sorry, a penalty on understanding.
Yeah. Basically, it ups your comp ranges for understanding. In essence, because you're having a harder time. But because you cultivated unity, you did succeed. At the next adventure, your pool will start at 3 out of the gate. Instead of starting at 0, you just start with 3 momentum right out of the gate.
Nice.
So it looks
All
like
right,
we're going
let's-
to be banking 2 wealth and 2 resources at the end of this month.
2 wealth, 2 resources. That is well within your ability to store, and your wealth is low enough that no one wants to rob you. Not enough money to make it worth their time to try.
One resource is not enough money. Bullshit.
So I believe we fall into personal ventures. Everyone gets 1 personal venture.
Oh, dog.
I'll also note, you still have the lady the envoy of Valorian waiting outside. Well, she's on Salutaris wandering around doing.
I guess this is a point where we can bring her in.
You summon the lady Valorian to attend.
Mhm.
He promptly arrives. It takes like 15 minutes for her to grab a car and drive over. Oh, this is such a lovely planet, lovely moon. I always love visiting here. I saw the new statue, Falsgrafen. Great work. I'm glad to have seen it for myself.
It is certainly one way to speak of it.
A history is forged by the victors, Falsgrafen. So, the fact that you're here to build such a thing shows that that fate is blowing in your direction.
That's one interpretation.
Well, you're just hard to get along with.
Yeah, triumph is not the message of that statue.
You're learning that Valorian has very different views on life than
I
yours.
honestly don't even remember what that statue came from.
It was made after finding out the details of the second child's
Oh my
origins.
god.
Its keywords are holographic, justice, and pain.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah,
She's looking to the justice part of the equation more. She's
There
like,
you go.
"Ooh, that lines up with my house values. I think that's a really cool thing." But it's born from tragedy. Yeah, but you're gonna win though. That's always a good story. Yeah, she looks around. She nods to everyone again as she's arrived. She saw you all first time, but it's been a bit.
I kind of wait for her to talk what she wants to talk about because we didn't invite her here. She invited herself.
After she notices no one really asks her of anything after the pleasantries, she says, "Well, I suppose I should get the formalities. Falsgrafa Erica III of House Bellezza, I, the Lady Elara Valorian of House Valorian, speak on behalf of our Duke and Steward of Silvanus to request upon you the particulars as to why the Martial Ritter was operating on Akaz and what her purpose was. For the Archduchess of Akaz has raised concerns that that you have possibly, or your Ritter Marshal has possibly interfered in operations and stability within the system, such that she evicted her from her planet back into your care. I will note to all present, this is not a condemnation of the Ritter Marshal. This is not a condemnation of Falsgrafen or the House. This is a fact-finding mission that the Duke and Stuart has sent me to learn about. Any information you can provide me or any clarification as to what actually happened from your point of view would be greatly appreciated. So I may carry them and your message to the steward.
You can retrieve the evidence and details from Johanna's officials, but the short version is that House Ikaz committed a crime with the aid of the Bene Talaxu against us that falls, at least in my opinion, just shy of the use of atomics or of thinking machines.
This is a GM clarification. Do you mean Alaka, or are you actually throwing a Kaz under the bus here?
I mean Alaka, I guess. Yes. They keep coming up at the same time in the same context, and
well, they're both from the same planet too, so
yeah. I mean Alaka.
Okay. Oh dear. House Alaka continues to compound their crimes even further. You'd think they would decide to start flying upward rather than burying themselves even deeper into their treachery.
They know one way.
Well, I guess the only follow-up question I have is to ask on behalf, well, the official report will go into it, but is there anything you wish me to add into the knowledge of the Steward or the Archduchess as to why marshals of Salutaris were deployed on Paz? And she looks at the Ritter Marshal, but she then shifts her gaze straight at Falsgrafen. It's one of those, like, she could directly question, but she's standing on the no. There is a chain of command. I'm talking to the Falsgrafen. Whether or not she wants to make the Marshal answer she's leaving it to you. Like, she's staying within the confines of being an envoy rather than the Duchess mother of the current Steward.
Erica will say, Akaz allowed its subject house to exceed what is right and natural. And so someone else had to handle Alaka's problems. That is why the Marshal was there. The Archduchess if the Archduchess could bring Alaka to heel, we would not have to.
Mill winces a little bit at that.
There's also accusations that the Ritter Marshal consorted with criminal elements on Ikaz. These are accusations, I will add, that I have advised, for now, that perhaps the House of Ikaz doesn't wish to cast stones too quickly, given the current ceasefire talks. But whether you wish me to advise the steward to be more strongly worded or softly worded, I'd rather not complicate your relations if you don't want me to. Or if I happen to be working in the same direction as you are in the first place.
We wish all of this to go away, so you may say whatever you think necessary to soothe House Akaz's concerns.
Perhaps I may advise, I obviously cannot compel this, but I may advise a gift of a painting, something to the effect of reminding Ikaz of their responsibility. And I can send that to them as a gentle reminder that this could have been a Landsrat issue rather than a law enforcement issue, shall we say. But I can make this go away. Now that I know the fact of what's going on, and I'm sure the details of Silvanus Johanna is going to be damning in its own right. I doubt the Archduchess wishes to anger one of its most staunch allies. And the Steward has been seeing your eager work and would rather see that upward trend not blunted by trivial politicking.
I can, as a Reverend Mother, also very emphatically state that the last thing House Alaka wants is for the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood to turn its attention to their activities in this matter.
It's not Alaka that gets a loud voice here. It's a Kaz that's getting a note. What Alaka has to say about us, I and the Steward frankly do not care. They are traitors and will be dealt with by the Landsrat accordingly. They'll deserve everything that's coming to them.
You have my ascension. If House Valorian wishes to send a painting, House Valorian may send a painting.
She smirks. I think that can be arranged, Falsgraf and Erica. I have a bit of wealth. I suppose I could commission one.
Erica says, I understand the need for House Valorian to soothe this problem, and I am attempting to be magnanimous, but the depths to which they have caused me problems by their inability to manage Alaka are indescribable. So if they want anything from me, they'll have to extract it at blade point.
I will refrain from carrying that particular message. I'll leave that to your architects, I believe.
I don't wish to share that message with them, only with you so you understand why I will not be funding any art, but will allow you to send it in my name if you think it's necessary.
She nods at that. I understand you, young Falsgraf and Erica. There is a way to things, and I suppose a motherly noble needs to look out for the young. Is there any particular message you wish me to carry in addition to my fact-finding mission to the House Valorian?
You can inform the steward that I am keeping my promise and look forward to him keeping his. The skies of Salutaris are now filled with, and soon the ground will flow.
Very good, Falsgraf. With your leave, I shall continue to vacation a tiny bit longer here on Salutaris before I return to Silvanus. So if you have extra need of me, I will be present for a few days yet.
You are welcome to dine with us any day that you are on the planet.
I think I will take you up on that, Falsgrafen, but I suppose I should get out of your hair and let you attend to your house business. Thank you for seeing me, of course, Falsgrafen. Your restraint is greatly appreciated by myself, and I'm sure the Duke will appreciate it as well.
Erica will provide any pleasantries needed to get her out of the room.
Yep. There's a bit of back and forth because there is that odd position you both are in. I'll note she does give a couple of looks at Kareem to see if he'll say anything. But you get the feeling that in your pleasantries, that one of the pleasantries she shares is that she likes the fact that you are taking a first-hand grip on the financial futures of the Silvanus systems, which in noble speak is her approving of the fact that you patted Chom on the head a bit to make them calm down. Because you get the feeling that House Valorian was going to be forced to do something if you did. So she's glad you saved her house the trouble.
I'll take note of it.
And other than that, she'll leave it alone. She'll be... Yeah, so Lady Alara Valorian will be around for a while. Back to your guys' personal ventures. Because I didn't take up a venture. That was just you. That was you answering a venture that she was doing.
To know what venture I should do, I need to know with the false Graffin's return, and getting a chance to speak with him, what does he want? Because he's the one that's been in captivity for 5 years. Eric, I mean, they've been, Erica will show happiness and be grateful that he is freed, but at the end of the day, Erica understands that he's known the inside of a jail cell longer than he ever knew her.
Yeah.
So, I might need to know the answer to that before I can decide what venture is appropriate. Because Erica's kind of assuming that he is going to want to just go home, right? That he's probably spent more time dreaming of being back on his home world than he ever did about Erica. Because this was a marriage of convenience, right?
I will say that he comes back with a spirit of wanting to get back to work. Like, he does want to go back home to Feroli, but at the same time, he's personally irritated that he was prevented from doing his job with Bellezza. So he wants to become more of an agent or asset, perhaps. In the near future, because he wants to get back at them by doing the work. It's like, you guys didn't want me to do work, screw you. I'm gonna go there and work extra hard just to be spiteful.
Espionage asset is...
I would also call him a possible architect person, but since he doesn't have the skill to, he's not currently skilled enough or driven enough to be an architect, but he might be a good agent.
Then Erica's going to support that idea, but in a very uncomfortable moment, I imagine bring up quite bluntly that there's no way for him to have known this, but probably caused by the fact that someone was impersonating him. There was enough coldness between the two of them that Erica has spent, these 5 years married to someone else in all but name, and it had always been her understanding that Sebastian had his own interests that allowed this to take place, but that obviously it wasn't his fault, but that this situation is what it is, right? So it's basically she's couching that you can come do this, but the chance of ever having a working marriage was gone. Even though it's not your fault, it's gone.
Would you? So this, there are 4 ways I see this falling venture-wise. One is the Affirm Allegiance one, where you find a path where he and you work together to figure out what benefits both your houses. Like, okay, let's get back to why we married in the first place. Part of it was for the big favor, but it's like now I'm pissed off because they kicked me in the shins, and I'm mad about that personally. So he, as a fellow noble who hates the same people you do, sort of thing, it's like I want to help you screw over these people. So that's one way where House Frioli and House Bellezza might affirm their allegiance again because of his spite, basically. You could develop him as a contact where it's like, look, we're not romantically involved at all, but look, if you want to hang about and keep working, go ahead. Just keep me informed what you're doing so you don't step on my toes. He basically stays out of house politics. But he stays as a contact. Probably develop contact would probably send him back home. And he would work there. Third, you could try to reform a romantic connection if you wanted to go that path with him. Doesn't sound like you want to do that, but
Yeah, that she's saying that's already off the table.
Yeah, which that doesn't hurt him at all. It's like, yeah, we weren't even doing a romantic connection. We were married to each other before we even met each other, sort of thing. It's like, look, we fought in the war a little bit. That's it. Like, we don't know much about each other. Lastly, you could. I would treat this almost like a heal complication. So a skill move difficulty 1. You could try to dissolve the marriage between Froley and, which it's one of those, like, he's like, I understand why. If you don't want me around at all, you just want me gone, and I just go back to doing Froley stuff, you go to Bellezza stuff. He won't hold it against you because he's like, I get it. I'm, maybe this isn't going to work the way we think it is. But he is.
Marry Galia.
I'm getting it. I'm thinking, is there a possibility for a greater difficulty to tie 2 of these things into seek consort? Except I'm not going to send him home. It's the message will basically be, due to the treachery of the Beni Tulaxu, the marriage between the false Graffin and the false Graf has, no valid standing anymore in the Orange Catholic faith. To free that'll be the the argument to free from the marriage. Then, as a thank you and a way to help him achieve his goals, instead of making Mill the Baron on the world as a vassal house to now manage all of this stuff we're doing on the planet, I will make him the equivalent of a Baron. So he'll have his own house, be able to stay with us. So is it because I'm not trying to send him away, I'm trying to bring him in. Can I couple bringing him in and a formal marriage?
I would bundle that into like a discipline difficulty 4. Like, it's a matter of figuring out precisely how this is all going to work in a way that works for both of you without complicating life any further than it already has.
That's less difficulty than I was arguing for, so I'm gonna take it. Oh, okay, well, spoke too soon.
Well, it's difficulty 5.
I thought I heard you say difficulty 4, so I was like, yes.
Sorry, I misspoke. That's my bad.
personality trait of just, because everyone is kind of getting something that is right for them according to their own desires and the desires of the house.
I'll increase your comp range by 2. Under the auspice that perhaps Sebastiano is kind of seeing you again for the first time, so there is some romantic undertone that he's trying to let go of because he's trying not to be a burden, sort of thing. So it's complicating how he's interacting with you.
Okay, so just hurts me.
Huh?
I said that the personality trait of just hurts me.
I spent to increase complication.
Oh, okay. I thought you were telling me because I'm just.
No.
Okay.
Just I will take though, because you are right. There is a logic in the justice, in the faith that would lead to this. And you're making sure he's being taken care of. You're not just going, piss off. It's, no, hold on. I'm not just sending you home. I'm gonna give you a house. You're gonna get your own thing. We can work together still. Like, I'm still making sure you have a good life. It's like, okay, that's not bad.
The personality of trait of courtier, because if there's anything courtiers live for, it's ennoblements and weddings.
Yeah. Yeah, and that threat spend was inspired by authors saying, spend threat for romantic hijinks subplot. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I have a bunch of threats. No reason to up the diff, because it's already diff 5, so I'll up the comp.
So that should bring me to diff 3 at the moment.
Because of your traits, yep.
Yeah. I will use... Actually, no. I want to save. I would like to use the asset holographic artwork because it has justice as a keyword, and just is an important part of why this is working out, as we pointed out, and was created directly related to this situation.
So you kind of have, as we have the crossfade of you talk to each other and the montage of discussing, there's a moment where you both kind of stand under the statue, and there's this, you explain to him what it's about, and it's like, oh yeah. So it kind of drives home you guys need to work extra hard to make up for this tragedy.
Yeah. And then the asset of the fortress, because that's where all of this is going to be happening. And because it's a fortress, we have tight control over coming and going, so that helps eliminate a lot of surprises, right? We can't have surprise noble visits, right? Because unlike an ordinary palace, right, not even like the steward of the house can just show up in the center of the fortress without someone knowing about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, hell, that's why when the envoy came in, you were immediately informed. It's like, oh, no. There's no one moves around here without being known they're here. If you're not supposed to be here, there's a very angry soldier with a gun who's going to be asking a lot of pointed questions.
All right, and lastly, house retainer consort, because I'm pretty sure with the keywords familiar and loyal, she's as eager as everyone else to get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna actually roll.
Sounds like flat, isn't it? Diff 0 after everything?
No. I'm keeping all of those 3 because artwork is quality 4, consort's quality 3, and fortress is quality 2. So I basically want 9 momentum.
So you brought down to
diff 3.
Diff 3, yeah. Yeah, right. I follow you.
Because I'm gonna use is it still called determination in the system?
Yes.
I'm gonna use determination on
Oops.
I think this is gonna be justice, right?
I would follow justice here in your statement. Like you are making sure that he is being taken care of, and you're not only are you getting what you want, but you're making sure everything's being done properly. There's a way to do this, a almost amicable, if not generous, disillusion. It's like, no, he's not just being sent home. Like, no, here's this whole thing. We're gonna do this whole thing to make sure everything goes right. It's like, that's more than most would do, but it's honestly, this is what should happen, sort of thing.
Then I'll give you 1 and spin 1 off the table for 3.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I think no momentum off the roll, but 9 bonus momentum.
6, 9.
Actually, that's a good question.
So many eyes staring back at you. I do wonder why they chose I for momentum in that weird swirl for. That's what's in the box. Like that's what you get for represent momentum and threat.
I'm sorry, that's a squirrel?
No, swirl. I said I don't know what that's.
Oh, swirl.
I have no idea what that's supposed to be.
Squirrel.
It's D for Dune, I guess. I don't know. There's probably some fancy thing that folks over at Modifius were doing when they thought up that design. The eyes, I get it. You have better insight. You see things. Blue for good stuff. Red for bad stuff. Orange, anyway. That's closer on the red spectrum than the spectrum.
I'm pretty sure that the threat is a sandworm.
Maybe that's what it is. Hey, you know what? That's probably what it is. It's a sandworm.
Yeah, if you look at the larger
10.
thing over in the corner, you can kind of see the mouth.
Oh, there you go. What are you doing with your 9 momentum as you dissolve Falsgraf to...
Well, that's his new title is Freehair, which is it's the equivalent of Baron. It means like freeholder. Yeah, weirdly enough, historic rank titles don't really take into account non-heterosexual marriages for obvious reasons. So I think you could just change Gallia's title to it's weird. See, I wouldn't even know. They'd probably just leave it as it is because it doesn't. There's no historic equivalent for something like this.
I might in sort of Dune-ish make up my own language logic. I might call her the false Griffina, indicate that she's the minor to your title. Like you are the ruling Falsgraf and she is the consort or the marriage partner Falsgrafen. It's like, but we're both Falsgrafen. So it's just like I'm false Griffina. It's like what?
I guess. You could just do Grafen to say that because the first part of that is Palatine, the false. So it's to set like Erica's rank is equivalent to a count normally, but raised slightly above that for some past imperial service. So you can say that maybe in this case that privilege only extends to the ruler.
Yeah.
So I guess, but that would have also applied to Fraioli, but
maybe in his case it was probably a thing in his case. So Erica is in a woman marriage. Yep. Their author. The only thing that the only thing in the Dune world that would matter, how progressive is the Empire? It isn't. Salutaris is a unique situation. The big important thing, and this is worth reminding Erica and this house about, is that normally the Sisterhood and the Landsraad might have an issue with this. They just care that lineage continues. That's the primary concern for the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, this can only happen because there's already an heir.
Yeah, there's already kids in the equation. So like, you know what? Go ahead. we got the babies we wanted out of you. So because the Bene Gesserit are not very progressive at all.
Besides, I'm sure the Bene Gesserit want to say something, but I have a weapon against them, which is a Reverend Mother who very much wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, unless the Reverend Mother Johanna Mashid decides to make a fuss about it, you're not going to face any. Someone on Warlock 9 is going to be real like, no, this is wrong. Well, the Reverend Mother of the area said it's okay, so eat nuts.
Yeah.
Unless you want to break it.
Johanna has an email inbox for this person.
Yeah.
That all their messages go there and never get answered.
You should look into the spiritual significance of this matter. I have. Done. So, any other mail you have for me, or? I thought about it, and I'm okay with it.
Sorry, this is a problem with having the Orange Catholic faith be almost entirely undefined. In my published 5th edition right here, it says I can do whatever I want, as long as I say it's in line with the Orange Catholic Bible. It's a great edition. It was given to me by Nightshade, who likes to do whatever she wants in the name of the Orange Catholic faith.
Hey, it's about interpretation, really. I mean, this is for the furtherance of humanity, so it's all to the ultimate good, really.
And I'm a landed noble, which means my opinion counts and yours does not.
Yeah. If the Reverend Mother was hostile, this would be a lot more annoying, but you have a friendly Reverend Mother, so unless the Reverend the entirety of the Bene Gesserit want to come down on you hard, there's nothing they can do about this. Mind you, they'd go after the Duke and his ducal consort long before they come after you. They're already mad at the system to begin with.
They've already gotten something pretty good.
Right. I was about to say.
If they decided to get mad, they wouldn't come after me. They would renege on their deal and start doing genetic experimentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have my favorite second cousin. I mean, come on.
I'm going to.
I will note you will get a condemnation letter from Duke Malvolus for your new marriage. Where he believes it is not he believes it is not proper. Mind you, you recall that he sent the same letter to the steward of he sent it to Duke Valorian and Duke Arconis when they joined, so.
Actually, can I create the advantage of religious exemptions? Basically, as this letter is received, another letter is sent that's not hostile. It's just we're sorry to have disappointed you. Here is all of the things the Orange Catholic faith says that at least we can halfway interpret to be supportive. Because this is the problem with the Orange Catholic faith, right? Is that to bring everybody in, it's pretty loose. Yeah. To say the least. The only thing the Orange Catholic faith is solid on is no AI.
Yeah. For 2 momentum, that's enough to get. You've done more than Valorian and Arconis did. They basically told him to pound sand, and by the way, we get to be the stewards, so you can't make us stop. Whereas you actually bother sending him a letter and going, "Hey, don't be mad. It's okay. Like, okay, I'm not happy about it, but you're right. Technically, there's an exemption given what you did under this interpretation, and her and Reverend Mother approved it, so I guess I'm okay with it officially."
And this is why he's one half of my plan to deal with Valorian if he reneges on my deal, and he's not Valorian's plan to deal with me. Oh, actually, can I actually get him on board by returning the orbital station as like a wedding gift, almost a reverse wedding gift?
Like almost like you're saying to further assuage your worries.
Yeah, that our house has nothing but your house's best interest in mind. Here is this, right?
Yeah, I'll take that for two momentum and the return of that orbital. He'll give a written approval notice where he's like, I'm okay with this given the current interpretation as provided by Reverend Mother Johanna Rashid under the advisory of Falscraft and Erica, yada yada yada. But it looks a lot more. It's gonna irritate the sisterhood more because Corvin Mavolis is very conservative and they like that he's that way. You're kind of pushing him to at least publicly appear more progressive, which irritates them, which he's fine with. He's getting an orbital out of it, sure, whatever. He's faithful right up until he gets a multi-million-dollar orbital back.
I'll spend another 2, I guess. I would like to solve this problem with the crime family that I angered on Agrestis.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to use the opportunity of a noble marriage to pardon the arrested member of their family on the condition that she, acknowledges the crimes she committed and that they were wrong, right? If she does that, I will
I don't know how that ties to your
pardon.
marriage role. That's what these would be for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Right, because I'm thinking of like noble accessions and marriages as being a time where like monarchs will go out of their way to give gifts and pardon to boost goodwill.
Okay, I see what you're saying. All right.
Like, I mean, using the actual date of the wedding to do this.
On the date of my wedding, I give out gifts.
And to be your first child.
Yeah,
your
no,
last
it is.
child.
Hey, you are all here to be happy with me, so I'm gonna give you a bunch of shit so you'll stop being problems. Because basically, they're mad. I don't really care about dealing with them. They're only mad because I arrested one of them. I'm hoping that letting her go and sending her back lets this blow over. So maybe they are still mad, but not mad to like hire mercenaries mad.
Yeah, they're not big mad.
You probably don't want. She would much appreciate you not sending her back to Agrestis. She'd like to stay, Salutaris or Silvanus, because if she goes back to Agrestis, she might mysteriously find a new charge on her rap sheet.
Oh yeah, she could. If her family wants that, she can stay. The only point is that her family is very aware that she's pardoned and no longer under my control.
I'll take that. Yep.
And then I will give to boost whatever boon Kareem is gonna work on, because with a note that I do not want to have to keep solving chome problems for you, but if I have to, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah.
Oh well, that works.
I approve of the success. Just succeed a little more, please.
Okay.
Succeed more successfully. And then there was one left on the table. I don't think I can do anything with that. So.
All right. Who wants to take up a personal venture? Who else is getting married? Let's go.
Kareem could, although he'd start a civil war.
Yeah, we'll wait until.
Well, if he wants to
we're
join the
stewards of Silvanus.
polycule,
No, we'll wait until we're stewards
Let
of
me
Silvanus.
steal their stewardship, then you steal his wife. That'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine. But no, one of you others take it up. I need to think because I've got a lot of shit that I need to do, and I need to make something happen.
So after this deal we did with Chom, what's the situation with them vis-a-vis they're an enemy of our house?
What are you talking about? We're working toward this. You're working with us, aren't you? We're all on the same side.
Okay, yeah, I'm the spy master. What's the reality of them vis-a-vis being an enemy of our house?
Would you like to do a venture to look into such a thing?
No, I'm trying to figure out if I need to develop an asset within them, which is probably not a bad idea.
I'm more saying that would be to answer that would be monitor enemies. Because I'm telling you what they're publicly saying. Whether or not you believe that is up to you.
Right. I don't know if I want to do that or develop. I think let's do monitor enemies on Chom.
Okay. It's a move roll difficulty of 3. This will also give you. I'll give you the answer to that. Plus, you'll also still get the benefit of the single d20 to the next test you make against them. Oh, wait, no, that's what it is. One of the things is ask one question about their plans. Never mind. That's straight up what it does. Sorry, I thought I was being weird.
Yeah. Okay. So. Cat. Move truth.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna spend my determination on my truth statement, which is I will discover the truth.
Yep.
This is diff 3 base. Right now we don't have any momentum, but I will give you a threat for a third die. Focus and stealth.
Yep.
Okay.
Probably go down to Silvanus and start nosing around in there.
That's 5 hits.
5 on a 3, generate 2. What is your question again? Just make sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to determine whether our deal with them to get the falls grappling back has smoothed the waters, or if they should still be counted among our enemies.
You learned that there are concerns about Kareem Kabata, because he did vocalize to one of their executives his hostile feeling toward them. But because it doesn't sound like the False Griffin has his back on this, because she supported Chom interests. Like she, as far as they're concerned, they think she's how to say it? She's on board with the program. She isn't about to upset how things work just because some treasurer has a problem with them. And they're fine with that. If his boss, his director is not backing him as far as they know. So they're willing to back off. So at this point, he's just a commoner who doesn't like them. Lots of commoners don't like Chom. So the fact he's a treasurer, you know what? That sounds like as long as the director keeps him in line, they're fine with it. And as far as getting back, and to that end, as far as House Bellezza is concerned, giving back Sebastiano, or rather, I'll put it to you this way: it isn't so much that Chom as a whole gave it back; it's more that more directors who liked Erica outnumbered the ones that didn't like her. Because it's all of a sudden, it's like some of us made way more wealth or have more opportunities than we did otherwise because Director Erica stepped up. You know what? I don't care what problem you have with her. I'm not losing out on 10s and 20s of wealth because you have an issue. That sounds like a you problem. You want to take a poke at Bellezza? You're doing it outside of Chom. You make this a personal problem. So don't get us involved anymore. We're not willing to lose money on this.
Fair enough.
Now, going after Kareem Kabata, that's a different problem. But he isn't, I will say on the back of that, he's not big enough a threat as a commoner for them to go after him yet. He hasn't poked them enough. He's indicated he's a dissident, but, you know, he's just on a list somewhere. But there's plenty of people on that list, frankly. Yeah, so that would fall to Moonshadow or Kabata after that.
Go ahead, Moonshadow, if you want.
I'm also trying to decide what my personal venture should be.
Do you want me to try then?
Sure.
Alright, well, GM, question.
Yeah.
How does the lady Serafina feel towards me these days? Do I have to maintain my romantic connection?
You don't have to continue romantic connection currently. I believe that she put out a thing of at least doing it at least once more. But you don't have to keep it up. She'll still remain a romantic connection. But I will say, if you were going to seek her as consort, you'd have to take her out. I think you've gone with her once on her planet,
right.
once up here, so she'd want at least one more before she considers being sought as a consort, to consider what she's going to do about, if you wanted to make this more permanent, how that would work. But for now, you're not. It's not. You're a nice person to visit and talk with, and spend time with. But whether to go through all the hassle of reforming the polycule somehow, she'd want at least one more good date series.
And she'll get it before Falsgrafen becomes steward of Silvanus. Don't you worry about that. Right now, I think I have a date with a therapist.
You're gonna try to heal a complication away?
Yeah, I can only do one per, right?
Yep.
I was about to say, I hope it's actually getting help, because a date with a therapist is actually going to make the problem worse.
Look, I need to be gaslit, Dune style, that there's nothing wrong with me.
They have drugs for that.
They do have drugs for that.
Sometimes it's gas form.
Okay, yes, I would like to remove one of my complications.
Which one?
The one that I just got today. Because understanding is a big part of my character, and good god, I don't mind getting a comm penalty on Kaitan. The move penalty kind of sometimes sucks. The comp increase during move rolls sometimes kind of sucks, but this one...
This will hit you all the time, yeah.
Yeah, this one hits me all the goddamn time. Understanding is a big part of my character. I need that out of my way.
So we will call this, it will be a move roll, of course, difficulty of 1. I have no reason to turn up the difficulty. You're on your world.
Yeah, and it says that I sometimes suffer a comp increase during move rolls, and it's another complication. So, do you want a comp increase or no?
Oh, there's a comp increase here. Oh, yeah.
Okay, sure. Gosh darn. Move duty, because this is preventing me from doing my duty to the house.
At least complicating it, if nothing else. Yeah, I'll take it.
One momentum. No, one threat, 2 momentum.
Right.
No focus. Okay.
Made it.
And another comp! No, God!
Do you want to give me 2 threat, or do you want to suffer a brand new comp?
God, get out of here. I'm getting rid of you. Also, is that 17 a comp as well, or?
No, 19, 20.
Even with comp increase?
It's only +1 per.
Oh, okay. That's not so bad then.
Okay. So I will ask you, actually, after you have a nice sit down and reconsider. What's the complication? What was it called again? Before you
Overthinking.
Oh, overthinking. Yeah. So you spend some time, probably, even as I would think, even to a certain degree, you're trying to get away from stuff, and even getting away from other people, like the other agents and other architects, to kind of like, you need to let the math work itself out and try to make this equation more elegant in your head. So that
yeah,
it
you
doesn't...
know where I'd like actually go? I don't know if the rest of us architects are allowed there, but you know that big tree on Silvanus, in where the sap weavers are, where we draw all the sap from?
Well, there's multiple trees they do that from, but yeah.
Okay, I need to find one of those big trees and have a nice, relaxing meditation there.
You could go... Yeah, actually, if you're going for a place to meditate, the Silverwith Lindor is kind of that. It's kind of like a park that has sapweaver trees. It's just that people don't tap sap there because it's meant for meditation and reflection.
That's fine, and I think there I will consume the juice of Sappho until my mind is clear.
Sure.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
Stop! No,
3,
no!
4.
I'm
Somebody write that
sensing
down.
that we're not gonna get any advertising dollars from the FDA or the DEA.
I'm looking for an understanding difficulty 4. By the way, 1 AP ding because I spent a lot of threat in one go.
Cool.
As you start taking the Sappho and you start meditating, all of a sudden, all the trees around you seem to start to move like so many fingers of the planet. And that starts freaking you the hell out. You have a bad trip on your Sappho.
Do I still suffer the complication? Or is that gone?
Oh, yeah. If you just cured it, it's gone now, yeah.
Okay.
This is happening after your meditation. Like at the tail end of your meditation, you're suddenly hit with this really weird trip.
Yeah, I don't know how to get it gone. Gosh darn.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Maybe it is. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it is. I don't know how to get rid of it. We'll figure that out eventually. Right. I don't know. Understand truth? I'm as high as a kite, so you know what the hell's going on. One momentum. Focus of nothing. God dang it. I'm missing the one. God dang it. Anything I can do here? I can't spend a determination because I have no statement. Oh well, we have to take it.
One of two things will happen here. Either I'm giving you a new truth statement, or I'm giving you a new trait. You don't get to know what they are ahead of time, you just know which slot I'm filling up for you. Something happened to you while you're at the Silphotheal Indoor. As you sit there, drink the Sappho juice, and then you feel a breeze go through all the trees, and all the air seems to turn blue all around you as the pollen whiffs away from the various buds on the trees, and it interacts with the Sappho in a really weird way, and you fall back into a trance and you start seeing things, and you don't understand any of it because you weren't trained to deal with this at all. So you're having a really weird trip that's going to change something about you.
So either you turn me into a Woodstock loving hippie, or I get a new statement. I'll take the trait.
You have the Silvani trait. Your hair turns blue. It gets a shade of blue to it, and you feel a connection to the trees and the animals in it in a way that you may have overheard people talk about forest power here, or maybe even Moonshadow impact, especially during Unity. Moonshadow may have shared how she feels about the forest, how she interacts with it. You get it now. It's not something that... Now, the problem with this is, the good part of this is, among Silvani, you kind of understand them better. There's a certain connection you have with them now that you didn't have before. Unfortunately, among more, shall we say, anti-tribal peoples, you start having little mannerisms, little tics that kind of give away that you are a lot more connected to the Silvani wood than you otherwise are. You're giving off tribal vibes to people, which some people don't like. Some people admire. Depends who you're talking to.
Hot dog. Alright, so I can approach Moonshadow now and be like, yo, what's up, sister from another mister?
Yeah, and I'll note to Mel Moonshadow, there, you will know the next time you encounter Kareem, he will have an air about him as like, you've heard of people. There are people who can join the Silvani tribes, and the way they do it is that they have to go on a quest to meditate among the trees, and there's some special process that you do. You don't know what that is because you've never done it, but you know you've heard of people who aren't Silvani blooded joining the tribes. They just have to do some sort of quest, which it looks like he did. Like there's an air that that's how Silvani can kind of sense other Silvani tribe people. There's this air about you. There's this way you act that you just Silvani know Silvani. It's kind of a thing. It is a phrase. That's why even Johanna, even though she's not Silvani, she is a clan mother of no clan. Like that's a distinction that she has. That's why that particular role doesn't require you to be of a tribe. Where if you wanted to join, say, Moonshadow or whatever, Sapweaver, you'd have to go on a quest. Which I will note at some point he may want to look into, whether or not you encourage him to do this, he may want to look into joining one of the tribes and actually getting a name. Right now, unless he's starting up a new tribe of the Kabata tribe, which I guess he could.
First, I have to get a wife. Then we'll speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's okay. That's it then. How this shall affect Kareem, we shall see in the future.
Don't worry, Johanna knows what this does.
See, you don't have to drink any fancy teas. You just drink the juice of Sappho, and you're all right.
Ritter Marshall Mill Moonshadow. It's your venture.
Pretty sure you just drank the Kool-Aid, bro.
So, as a question for you, does Mill's amputated arm have significant impacts on abilities?
You were on a Kaz made sure that you were taken care of, and then you would be taken care of here because your wealth level's high enough, so you have a pretty good, well-maintained arm. If you ever drop to poor as a house, your arm starts becoming an issue because it's not being maintained properly. Because that's a very complicated device that needs to be maintained all the time. If you were at poor but you were being paid, you'd have to use your wealth stat to buy the specific oils and services to maintain it. But otherwise, it doesn't impede you physically if it's being maintained properly. Socially, some people kind of look at you funny because the same way people look at a very nasty war scar. Some people think it's super cool. Some people are like, "Ugh, you look downright warlike." It's like yes, I fight for a living.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get scars sometimes. It happens.
Gotcha. Excuse me. In that case, what Mill will do is spend some time spend some time on combat training with her blade.
Okay. Battle difficulty 2 as you spend some time blade training.
Flavor was probably getting used to the prosthetic and how it handles differently.
That's a fair point.
All right. Beauty, I don't really think I have any focus that strictly applies here. So I'll just roll it straight, I guess. Yeah. Dang. Nice.
Oh, you generate momentum. You get used to your bladesmanship, and you find yourself adjusting to the weapon. So the weapon now is considered a quality 1 point higher than normal.
Cool.
I'm training. And you just use a normal blade, right? Like you don't have a special asset blade.
Correct. Yeah, I had a temporary asset blade.
As you're practicing, Colonel Octavia observes you in the courtyard as you're practicing. folds her arms and just watches you for a while. But doesn't interfere. She just kind of watches what you're doing, and when you're done, she just starts to leave.
Okay.
You get the feeling that was part of the difficulty, was ignoring this person who obviously has malice towards you. But for some reason, she didn't say anything. She kind of observed what you did and left. As for Johanna Rashid, I will note that your efforts in Chom, you notice that there are other people asking questions about Chom as well. You believe they are agents of houses from here. So they're Silvanus houses that are looking into Chom as someone spent ventures looking into the same things you were. And they don't interfere with you. They may, whether or not they notice you, they don't seem to impede you. And since your venture wasn't to impede someone else, you don't impede them either, because why bother? We're both looking into something. To Erica the Third, you get in a special gift from the lady Alara Valorian, because she happens to be around during the wedding, so she's happy to attend. She apologizes her husband couldn't come by, but, you know, they weren't expecting a wedding to happen. But, you know, she actually goes out of her way to commission an art piece celebrating your new marriage. And then she spent some time during the reception kind of talking with Sebastiano and getting to know him and helping him catch up on what exactly goes on here. Because this is, since he never actually got to come here, because I think he married you while you were on campaign, didn't he? Or
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, welcome to Silvanus. let me as a fellow noble, let me help you out. let me try to get you up to speed of what's going on around here. And then lastly, Kareem Kabata. You have to consider what truth means to Kareem. As he has a moment to kind of, after all the ventures are done and the month is starting to wind down, he needs to consider what truth means to him. Now, the numbers do lie sometimes. So what is truth? What drives you to pursue truth as much as you do? You can, I will note, you can speak with one of the other player characters to try to discover this. Or you can have a solitary moment to reflect upon the idea. What say you, Kareem?
Oh, sorry. I zoned out for a second. What was that? Sorry.
It's okay. So I'm giving you a chance to get your new truth statement.
Yes.
And I advised you could either you can have a scene with another player character to discuss what truth means to you, or you have a soliloquy moment of what Kareem is thinking about truth.
I find that there is no better person to tell me about the truth than the one who actively seeks to twist it for her own gain. I should like to speak with the Reverend Mother.
I so didn't know who you were going to call on that. I'm like, ah. So, you find Silvana Johanna Rashid somewhere in the city of the Palace Silvanus.
Hmm. Ah, Kareem. No, I love the hair.
Oh, yes, thank you. It is a new addition to this. Well, it doesn't matter. I actually had something to speak with you, if you would be so kind as to honor me with some moments of your time.
Of course, tea. And she proceeds to make tea for us both, the Royal Blue Moon tea.
Perhaps with a change in the hairstyle, I might as well indulge in this as well. There is something I actually wanted to ask you, which I have been ruminating on while traveling with the Highliner. You see, back on Kaitan, there was that moment, if you recall, where regarding your finances, what the supposed Archduke, the Pfalzgraf, no, wait, how did it go? That you were receiving more money than you were supposed to receive. You see, I have led myself through the Mentat Academy, and through majority of my adult life, that if there is one certainty in this world, you know, people may lie, you may lie, I may lie sometimes, but there is one thing that will never lie, and that is the data that we put on the sheet of paper. For years, decades, I was convinced of this. Yet now, I find myself wavering in front of this, because you assure me, or you assured me then, that this had to be falsified. But something was amiss. I did the finances yourself. I was sure of my work. I'm always sure of my work. There is a 99.9% chance that I was right when I made them, but still something went wrong. And to tell you the truth, Reverend Mother, I am having an issue because that 0.01% has occurred. Tell me, Reverend Mother, you who are currently in the employ as a spy master, how do you view truth? Is it but merely a tool to you to use for your own gains, or is there a deeper meaning to it?
Oh, I mean, truth certainly can be a tool, but in and of itself, it is much more than that. Truth is reality.
And reality, as we are taught in the Mentat Academy, is what is around us. But during my service here, I have found that reality often shifts and changes its face and takes on different things. Perhaps sometimes not what we envisioned, perhaps good, perhaps bad. There have been moments during my service where it was pleasant, I might even add. Some people that I have met which have turned into pleasant acquaintances. Then there were times like the Marshal losing her arm and the whole plan of rescuing the Pfalzgraf not working out and getting held up in endless bureaucracy on Kaitan that it seemed like however much I tried to plan, however much the numbers told me and my probabilities told me that it would not happen, it happened. So I'm hoping you understand where this conflict of feelings comes from, because as a mentat, I was trained to believe in what I see written down. To me, the pen on the paper or the digital print of a paper is an absolute statement of one's authority. And my authority as a treasurer, I don't know how you got those extra funds. I don't know if you actually got them. At this point, frankly, I do not care. What I care about is that it lied. The paper lied.
Well,
Somebody lied.
even when you're dealing with Solari, and I'll go to a drawer and take out, like 2 or 3 just Solari coins, and I'll kind of put them on the table between us. So you have 3 coins here, but when in terms of salary or house funds or what have you, you're not handing out bags of actual Solari. What you're using instead are numbers to symbolize, to represent. So the numbers themselves aren't the truth. What they represent is the truth. So while the truth of a thing, and I kind of, slightly pick up a Solarity and let it fall just enough to like make a little noise, the truth of a thing generally is immutable, its representation doesn't necessarily have to be, and it's much more easily obfuscated or manipulated or what have you. It wasn't in this case when the Beni Talaxu tried to delay us by suggesting there was an irregularity and impropriety in my finances, which you notice that disappeared very quickly once we decided to get on the ship. It wasn't a manipulation of truth. It was a manipulation of our perception of the symbology and of the representations of truth. There was no more money in my accounts than there should have been, but by various manipulations of documents, of records, of electronic communications, they made it appear as if there was. So truth is, but our perception of truth, our symbology, and our language to represent truth is flexible. It is corruptible. It is manipulable. So I understand what you're saying about how the numbers on the paper shouldn't lie, and the math works out because the fundamental principles of mathematics are a truth of the universe. We know this. But we also know that in any calculation, if you have bad information going into that calculation, then you can have bad information going out. Or with a change in the number here and there by a malicious actor, you can change the meaning of the entire equation. But the math is still true. What you're putting into the equation can affect the outcome, but the function of the equation, the truth underlying it, is still there, and is still constant, my friend. This is why we have to look for the truth, and why, as a spy master, that is what I do. I try to find the truth amongst all of the confused and deliberately manipulated representations and symbology.
How often do you manipulate it? Use it to your own advantage? Falsify it in the hopes of gaining an upper hand?
I am a spy master in terms of the good of the house, and sometimes necessary to confuse the enemy, to misdirect them. This is a tool of diplomacy. And at the same time, as a treasurer, I'm sure that if anyone just came into your office and demanded to see the house finances or how much a particular person was getting paid, your first reaction would not be to just give that information to reveal the truth, but to determine who this person was, if they had good reason to access that information, and if revealing that information violated any ethical or legal concerns. The truth remains, but there was supposedly some ancient, before First Empire phrase that comes down. It actually survived into the Orange Catholic Bible. The truth is so precious that it must be guarded by a bodyguard of lies. I paraphrase somewhat. As a spy master, sometimes that's my job, is to provide that bodyguard of lies, to protect the truth. Other spy masters do the same. Our profession is penetrating the bodyguard. And sometimes as a treasurer, you guard the truth of house finances through a variety of means, not necessarily of lies, but obstacles, say. I can't give you this information because it is illegal, it is unethical. You are not cleared for this information.
May I ask a question before you continue?
Oh, certainly. Sorry, I am running on a bit. I do apologize.
I'm not sure I actually know your real name.
It is Joanna.
No, your real name.
Oh, my real name is Joanna. Before I became Reverend Mother, it was Joanna Bellezza.
I see.
And with the Assumption, I took on the name of Silvanus. And Mershid is also a title I took on upon becoming a Reverend Mother. It means, if you'll give the player a second.
That's a weird meaning for that.
If you will give the player a second.
Right. It means Mershid is kind of also part of my religious title, a religious name. It means guide or teacher from another ancient language.
May I ask you for a second to speak to you not as the Reverend Mother Silvanus, Johanna,
Mhm.
but to speak as Johanna Bellezza?
You can certainly ask.
May we? In that case, Miss Johanna Bellezza,
It would
is the
technically be lady, I'm afraid.
lady.
I'm
Quite right. My apologies.
still a noble
Lady.
after all.
Lady Johanna Bellezza. Is the pursuit of truth a noble cause?
Undoubtedly.
Then why do we obfuscate it? And now, just as you, not as a Reverend Mother, just you,
Mhm.
why do we obfuscate it?
Because the truth is power. Because the truth, knowing the truth, grants ourselves power and can grant others power over us.
You know what else I think, lady? Truth hurts.
It
And
certainly
sometimes I believe that we are just not ready to face the truth.
can. There's also that. But truth is, no matter all of our obfuscations, no matter our unwillingness to face it directly, no matter any of this, the truth is there.
Then perhaps, going further, I will consider your words, not as Reverend Mother, but as you. Just you.
Very well. But you might also consider that, from what I can tell based upon this conversation, you yourself, and some changes I see in you, you yourself are beginning to face some truths of your own, perhaps for the first time.
Back at the Mentat Academy, they never warned us of such metamorphoses of one's inner self. It is often glossed over, I would say. Yet, perhaps it is for the better, because what good is a trial if it is not by fire? Am I right?
You have
Indeed,
no
my
idea how
friend.
funny that is.
This alone proves that you are very, very human.
Not just a computer after all, eh?
Huh. No, because if with raising her tea to her lips, she says, "No, and let us hope not. Otherwise, I'd have to destroy you."
Well, if I was one, I would also sip my tea. Perhaps it would be too late.
I kind of tip my tea in a cup in a salute at that with a grin.
I think that's it. I would like to go and ruminate on these facts.
What is your truth statement?
Hmm.
Because it's reflected through the scene you had.
Yes. Sorry, I had to kill a bug. God dang it. Well, we found out that the truth, the pursuit of truth is necessary. Is that a good one?
think that that aligns with that scene. I don't see it contradicting that scene.
It may not be a good one,
But,
but
hey,
it
it's
is
better to have
necessary.
one than not.
Yeah, I
No,
think
no,
it's a good
no,
one
no, no.
because
It's like no. It may not be good to always pursue the truth, but it
Ah.
is necessary to
Yeah.
pursue the truth.
yeah, I mean it's a good value because it cuts both ways or statement. rather.
Yeah.
I'll actually write that down. It may not be good to pursue the truth, but it is necessary. There you go.
Sorry, I was not expecting to be counselor there.
Oh, you feeling very beta Z today? Or?
I will note to you as well,
Good thing I was
Kareem.
wearing my low cut top.
Yeah.
You can benefit from under handouts. There is the Silvani template. You can take one of the talents of the Silvani because you now have a connection to the Force, and that's how. Some of these are just ones that you can get anyway. Like Driven is a normal one. Subtle Step is a normal one. Those are just mandatories, but you now can bet it. You can now acquire those.
Can I get Prana Bindu?
Don't believe it's in there, so no.
Yes, it is if you're an imbiber of the royalty, no? Oh, no, it works in conjunction with the following talents. Ah, okay.
Because its main thing
choose...
is that because the main thing it does, you would have to buy it like a normal asset. You don't get it for free. I'm just saying that it's a talent. You can get talents from this list now.
Oh, okay, sure.
But yeah. I believe that'll be it for now. As there are new problems to deal with, new challenges to face into your fifth, as you finish your 4th month of trials. It seems you won't be having to rescue the false graph because he's no longer the false graph. And there wasn't a particular overall target you were going for, but I do know that there's a certain enemy out there who is still very unhappy you got back what you wanted. They really spent a lot of money on getting that guy, and you frustrated the Beni Talaxu, their goal. So whether or not they continue to be your enemy or you find a new enemy, we'll have to find out next time. For all of you watching, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for playing, and look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye. It was a very roleplay heavy session. I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
I always worry about the month ones.
You were all fooled. The computer takeover of the universe begins now.
I mean, I'm not saying anything. I'm just not saying anything. That's all.
Oh, it might be a computer. We might have to put your hand in a box.